in MMA.
We are now set for the main event.
There's all to play for, which is so exciting. These teams have to come in here and give it their all.
Have a real nice tempo. Goes baseline, watch out.
Oh, my!
Oh, baby! All the way down the runway for a big-time throwdown.
That's a lot of fans out there.
Look at that! The drama keeps continuing, Jenny.
This is just brilliant.
He strikes. Starts as you mean to go on.
But this is the danger of the top two guys, and that nuclear weapon that is.
Whoa, hello, goodbye. Score! In the back of the net.
And shoots. Score!
Of Serie A action. We'll bring you so much of it here on DAZN.
Magnificent. That is tremendous.
Catching up on any NFL game is easier than ever before.
Going deep for it all. Devontae Smith. He has got it. Touchdown.
Your Eagles are world champions again.
DAZN is the home of boxing.
Really spurs you on, gets you going.
Let's make history. Pure power. There's no way back from this, surely.
The following program is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language, and flashing imagery.
It's fight week in New York, the city that never sleeps, waking up this week to record-setting snow and big-time boxing. These are the scenes in New York where snow has covered the city and the tri-state area. It's cold out there, but tonight we are turning up the heat with the first major fight of 2026. Teofimo Lopez defending his WBO super lightweight title and the Ring Magazine championship against undefeated lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson.
New York City. We're here, baby. What are New Yorkers doing while the whole world is sleeping? In Brooklyn, they're probably starting a fight.
Going for the kill.
Here's the takeover, man. We don't stop. We keep coming. New York, right across the river. Close enough to share the same skyline. Where names learned to rise before the world watched.
Shakur Stevenson fast becoming a superstar.
Same tournament, different gyms. Same proving ground.
Newark against Brooklyn, two generational fights.
So close, but yet so far, until now.
I think he just don't realize how good I am. This is why we're here. We're here to take over.
These are the fights that people want to see. The best versus the best. Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson at Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square considered the mecca of boxing and has been home to some of the sport's most legendary battles, from Joe Louis against Rocky Marciano, Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier, to Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. The greats have done battle here, and tonight we're going to add another chapter to the venue's fabled history when two of this generation's best will collide. Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson. We've got a really great night of fights coming up for you tonight. We're going to start the night off with Almaayouf fighting to stay undefeated against Kevin Castillo. Jarrell Miller and Kingsley eBay meeting, two of the really big boys looking to build some momentum. Ammo Williams has to deal with a very last-minute replacement. Carlos Adames pulls out. His belt is no longer on the line. Wendy Tusan steps in at a day's notice. The WBC featherweight titles on the line between interim champ Bruce Carrington and veteran Carlos Castro. Keyshawn Davis hopes to make up for lost time in his debut fight at 140 against top contender Jermaine Ortiz. And then Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson fighting for super lightweight supremacy for the WBO and the Lineal Championship. Very warm welcome, everybody, to Ring 6 and what is set to be just an incredible night of boxing. So good to have you with us. My name's Kate Scott. I'm with the with Mike Coppinger, senior ring insider with
Didn't really
former
know what to
heavyweight.
call him, did you?
No, I did. There was
Poor
something
Mike.
else in front. So
okay.
Thanks, though. With Malik Scott, who is of course a former heavyweight contender and now world-class trainer, and Eddie Hearn, the chairman and CEO of Matchroom Sport. Good to have you all with us, Eddie. This is, you know, two of this generation's best fighting in their prime. It's got to feel good to deliver a fight like this.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, you know, great vision from the ring and his excellency, and you know, this place is special, especially when it's sold out. There won't be a spare seat in the house tonight. And what we're seeing is, like you said, two generational great fighters, but more importantly, in their prime. And I think it's such an intriguing matchup because Shakur Stevenson may just be unbeatable or as close to it as possible, if that's a thing. But moving up to 140 just adds that extra element of danger, you know, coming through from 126 to 130 to 135 to 140. When is it a step too far against the unpredictable and exciting maverick, Teofimo Lopez?
The thing is, in terms of how this fight is set up, is Teo is the champ, right? He holds the Ring Magazine belt, he's got the WBO belt, but you've got Shakur Stevenson who comes in as the favorite. Does that make sense to you?
I'm so excited about this fight, for one, because Shakur has never been to me in the ring with no one like Teo. And even though Teo has been in with the likes of Lomachenko, has been in with the likes of so many other opponents that he fought that is considered like kind of on another level than Shakur, I really believe Shakur has the attributes to become a pound-for-pound king, but he's going to have to get past Teo, which is a very, very dangerous fight because Teo does everything well. He's explosive, he's athletic, he has attitude, he has grit. And what's very dangerous about him, most of all, is when the big fights come under the big lights, when he's motivated, he's very dangerous.
That's very true. We've seen that against Lomachenko. He steps up when he needs to, right? Against Josh Taylor, the same situation, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Teofimo Lopez, right? He's very inconsistent. We've seen him struggle with Jermaine Ortiz, who's on this card, Sandor Martin, two boxers that fight in the same style as Shakur Stevenson, although not at that level. But Shakur Stevenson, let's not forget, as good as he's looked, he has never fought an elite opponent, and Teofimo Lopez has fought two of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your guy, Shakur, we haven't really seen him in at the deep end just yet, have we? Not fully all the way. The last fight was a tough one against William Cepeda, but not the level of Teofimo Lopez. What are we going to learn about him?
Yeah, and good wins, you know, Oscar Valdez and those kind of guys, more towards his prime he was then. And, you know, I think this is by far the toughest test of his career so far and something he's been searching for. You know, a lot of these guys who are really difficult to beat, I think Crawford suffered a little bit from this earlier in his career. Guys just didn't want to fight. I mean, and that's what I respect about Teofimo Lopez here. When this fight was talked about, I thought, no chance. You know, Teo's not going to fight Shakur Stevenson. He's got too much to lose. He's the champion. And I thought Shakur can just stay at 135 and just go through the other champions. But both in the search of greatness. And this place is going to be a wild tonight. I think what you said as well, the unpredictable Teofimo Lopez. I think that's what he's got to be tonight. You know, people said, do they think he's got the edge mentally in the build-up? I'm not so sure, but you've got to look at this guy and think, he's crazy. Like, and I think he is, and that's one of his attributes.
And I believe he's crazy enough to believe in himself. He's crazy enough to think he's a pound-for-pound great, and he was crazy enough to become undisputed two times. So he have all the reasons to feel like, you know, he's a bit crazy, and I love it.
Feels like one of the question marks coming into the fight is, can Shakur crack? Can he?
I believe he can crack, but I believe he's one of the best body punchers in the game. He gets no credit for his body attack when he has stopped guys to the body, dropped guys to the body. He's a very vicious body puncher, and I'm going to say something that many won't get, but I'm going to say it anyway. In the likes of being slickness, yeah, Pernell Whitaker's his favorite fighter, but most people love Pernell Whitaker body punching, especially the ones that's been in the ring with him. Everybody that get out the ring with Shakur, they don't say how hard he hit to the head. They always talking about his body attack, but I think his skill set, his defense, that it kind of gets it overlooked. But I think he's an incredible body puncher, which means if he could punch to the body hard, he definitely could punch to the head hard.
Are you going to go into the locker room before the fight? And if so, what would your advice be to Shakur?
This is a guy who's kind of been around boxing his whole life. He lives and breathes the game. The confidence level that he has is quite incredible. The same with Bud. Like when you talk to them, you think, I just don't think you can get beat in this situation. So very little. The people that he has around him, you know, particularly Bud, you know, his granddad as well, that confidence comes from the belief. I don't think he really searches for much reassurance. You see Terence Crawford really vocal ringside, like literally shouting instructions the whole fight. Yeah. Yes. And he really listens to Bud. Like, he's a big role model to him as well. So, you know, for me, so every fight is different. Sometimes I want to walk in and just try and get someone to be in the moment. This is the moment.
Yes.
I mean, this is the kind of nights that Shakur Stevenson has dreamed about since he was a kid. And make no mistake, boxing is his entire life. Like, from the age of whatever it was, 5, 6, through USA boxing, he lives in the gym. He dreams of moments like this. And everybody talks about the money in the sport, and that's really important. This is a guy that is 100% legacy driven. And he sees this. This is to become a 4-division world champion at 28 years of age. You know, Malik talked about Pernell Whitaker. This is to become a great tonight. A sold-out Madison Square Garden, Newark against Brooklyn. This is everything. And
I agree, and it's something that he's saying. He's constantly saying to Tio, I've been dreaming of this my whole life. He's not saying, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do. He want him to know that I've been dreaming of this moment my whole life. And tonight he has the opportunity to prove to the world how good he is. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you mentioned Terence Crawford. We all know that he's Team Shakur Stevenson. I'm sure everybody's seen the kind of the images of Terence Crawford walking up to Teofimo's father and kind of confronting him this week at Fight Week. Part of what they do is get in your head. They play this mental game, Teofimo Lopez and his father. They do it very well indeed. We can see the images coming in just a second of that moment I'm talking about. Listen, Teofimo's father enjoys himself at these events, doesn't he? Do you think they have done that well? Do you think they've gotten under Shakur's skin?
I think a little bit, yes, but I want to go back to what Malik said, and I think that maybe it's Tio's superpower. He is crazy. This is not an act. And I'm thinking back now to almost 2 years ago, also in New York, when Ryan Garcia pulled off a major upset against Devin Haney, and he's a crazy guy as well. So I think when you have that little, maybe that X factor that you don't know what to expect, it can really upset the odds.
Do you know what, Mike? I was in the ring that night with Devin Haney, and it was like before the first bell, when they were talking about, you know, giving the instructions. Yeah. Devin was looking at Ryan Garcia going, what are you like? I mean, he couldn't make him out. Like, it was like, are you in shape? Are you going to try? Are you like? And I think you've got to make him second guess. And I think there'll be parts of Shakur Stevenson that will know he'll have to adapt during the fight. But do you really know what Teofimo Lopez is going to do? The answer, I think, is no. I have no idea if he's going to try and outbox Shakur Stevenson. I'm not sure that's a great idea. Is he going to be aggressive, maybe try and use his size? I'm not sure that's a great idea either.
Yes.
But I think he's got the ability to do absolutely anything and make you second guess yourself, especially when you're as confident as Shakur and those kind of guys.
Yeah, and we could talk about being crazy and all that, but what's encouraging to me, Kate, is that Teofimo Lopez brought in help for this camp. It's not just his father training him. He worked with Stacey McKinley, who Luke knows is a very good trainer, and they said that they worked on cutting off the ring, something that Teofimo has struggled at in the past.
So that means he planned on coming forward, and if he planned on coming forward, that's where I think he possibly could play into Shakur's hands. Because when Teo comes forward, he kind of overcommits, he overreach, and we all know Shakur is a professor at making you pay when you overreach. So.
There's another video that went around on social that I want to talk to you about, Eddie, which was you going and talking to your fighter, Amo Williams, and giving him that bad news that Carlos Adamez was going to be pulled from the fight and they were going to have to try and find a late replacement. That has been found. You've got Wendy Tusan, who's coming in at a day's notice. These images are quite powerful of you just putting your arm around him and talking to him. Obviously, understandably, I'm assuming that was hard news to deliver and hard for him to receive. But I'm also interested how you feel about taking a fight at such late notice. There's some risk there, is there?
Yeah, absolutely. And the worst news you can ever deliver to a young fighter who's dreamed of fighting for a world championship, the WBC belt at Madison Square Garden. And it's like, he won't know, you know, 10 minutes before that, we all knew. And it's like, you know, all the guys are like, well, what are we going to say? We're going to have to talk to Amo. I went, let's bring him out here. Right, you've got to give it to him straight, and you've got to try and lift someone at that moment. But it's very easy to fall apart at that moment and take that energy forward over the next 24 hours. Oh, my dreams are over, I'm not going to be world champion. There's nothing you can do about it. It's done, it's completely out of your hands. Now we got to go to work. We've probably got, at that point, 40 minutes before the New York State Athletic Commission say there's no fight, to find an opponent that's got medicals, that's had his blood test, that's ready to fight. You know, now we're getting kind of bent over a barrel because the promoter knows we're desperate for an opponent. He's overcharging for his guy who's normally making 20,000. Now he's making a couple of hundred. Do you know what I mean? But you just got to find a way. I'm not letting this kid down, and we nearly lost the fight. And you know, thanks to Turkey and Ring, because they said, look, I said, look, it's not a good. You can't let this kid go through 10 weeks. He's put everything into this. Let him fight. And Tusan can fight. And the danger in that fight is you're deflated. Do you know what I mean? All of a sudden, you're like, this is the biggest moment in your life. Now you've got Tusan coming in, who was driving a bus yesterday, a school bus. No joke, right? That's his like part-time job. We had to get him off the bus, get him up to the city, and get in front of the commission and weigh in. Like, he's now thinking, oh my, like, so imagine the energy shift. You've got Amo Williams deflated, Tusan going, I'm here, I can't believe it, I'm at Madison Square Garden. You've got to be professional right now. You let it slip, the World Championship will never come. And it's not going to be an easy fight for Amo. This will be a competitive matchup.
Yeah, it's a really interesting fight on this card. Of course, the main event is super exciting as well. Teofimo Lopez, we know that he never allows fight week to feel dull, does he? The press conference was intense, the weigh-in was heated, and the week was crowned with the Ring Awards, a celebration of boxing which honored the biggest names and moments of the year gone by.
A snowstorm has hit the East Coast, turning New York City into a winter wonderland. But that hasn't stopped the boxing action. Let's get the Ring 6 fight week started.
There's no reason to put a lot of pressure on yourself because you know what you're capable of.
You got to try and stop Shakur from being Shakur, and that's a very difficult thing to do.
I'm made for this moment. I've been born for this, and I can't wait to show out.
I can't wait to put on a show for all my people out there.
This is everything. You know, everyone talks about making boxing great again, and you've got to take your absolute hat off to Shakur and Teo.
This for your dad.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, what type of alcohol is that? I feel very good, excited, determined.
I'm 100% focused. I'm ready.
Shakur, he looks locked in like he's supposed to, but Teo, which is being Teo up there.
It's my time. I've been ready for this moment since I was a child, and now it's all coming together.
Get your popcorn early, get your beers early. Teofimo Lopez, El Takeover, and still.
The Oscars of boxing. Tonight, we hit the Big Apple.
I'd like to congratulate all the winners and also all the nominees who helped make 2025 another great year in the greatest sport in the world.
I guess I did pay the cost to be the boss. Anything's possible if you believe in yourself. Thanks.
Bring in the rest of our team who are over at ringside. I'm going to go and call tonight's fights for you. So let's introduce you to Chris Mannix, Sergio Mora, and Todd Grisham. Good evening, gents. How you doing?
Good evening, Kate. Doing great. Excited to be here in the mecca of sports and entertainment for tonight's huge main event, Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson. Guys, I think maybe tonight's fight could turn into what we saw yesterday at the weigh-in. Wild, woolly, unpredictable, a bit of chaos. What did you make of what we saw yesterday at the theater?
That certain fighters thrive on chaos. Teofimo Lopez loves that environment. Tyson Fury loves that environment. Some guys get their blood boiling when they're around erratic behavior, you know, but as long as you're in shape, as long as you know the task at hand, and that man right there was an undisputed at lightweight, the champion at 140. He knows what's in front of him. He knows he has a Cheeto with boxing gloves in front of him. That man is going to be hard to hit. Shakur Stevenson is the real deal, but so is Teofimo, and that's the reason there's so much intrigue in this fight.
Well, Teofimo Lopez is a showman. He literally came to the ring once as P.T. Barnum from The Greatest Showman. This is what he does. This is who he is. But Shakur Stevenson, I don't believe, has been impacted by it at all. He has been locked in on this fight from the moment it's been announced. Go back to the first press conference a month and a half ago. Nothing that Teofimo did seemed to rattle Shakur Stevenson. Same thing this week during this fight week. Nothing I saw from Shakur made me believe that Teofimo has gotten under his skin. Look, last summer, Shakur Stevenson fought a tough fight against William Zepeda. He said that fight proved that I am a dog. He told me this week that this fight is going to prove that he's the best fighter in boxing.
Well, we're about to take a look at the current rankings. Chris, there's so many big names and so many potential future matchups that are so intriguing, including, of course, the one we've got here tonight.
Yeah, look, this 140-pound division is loaded. Teofimo Lopez up there at number 1. Dalton Smith in the building tonight. He would be down for a unification fight with Teofimo. Richardson Hitchens, we're going to see him back defending his title February 21st. Even you go down the list, Adam Azim, rising star in boxing. And Subriel Matias still lingering around. This list does not include Shakur Stevenson, who is making his debut at 140 pounds. And told me this week, if there's a big fight out there for him at 140, big money, he'll stay in this weight class and take on one of them.
All right, so that's the situation. Make sure you Purchase tonight's pay-per-view on DAZN and join our fan zone. Want to hear what you have to say about the fights? Join the conversation. Score the bouts only on the DAZN app. And if you don't want to listen to me, Sergio, or Chris and prefer a different language entirely, we've got that option for you as well. Ricardo Solis on the call with Jesse Vargas in Spanish. We've also got Arabic, German, and Italian. So it's time for our first fight of the night in Zizo Almaayouf, all the way from Saudi Arabia, taking on Kevin Castillo from Spain.
Yeah, Zizo is a well-traveled young fighter. Jeddah, Riyadh, and Saudi Arabia. He has been in Los Angeles, here in the U.S., and now in New York City, the first Saudi Arabian boxer to fight right here at Madison Square Garden. This young man is a great representative of his country, great ambassador of his country, and he gets a older opponent, more experienced opponent in Kevin Castillo.
Yeah, here's our tale of the tape. It's Saudi Arabia versus Ecuador. Castillo was born in Ecuador, but claims he's from Spain, but lives in Miami, Florida. Whatever, pick a flag. He's ready to fight. Castillo versus Almaayouf will start things off, the first fight of our 6-fight card. And for now, we turn it into the ring, and Mr. Thomas Schreiber.
Live worldwide on DAZN. Let's first welcome to the ring from Ecuador, Kevin Teddy Castillo.
Kevin Castillo, 8 professional bouts, 5 wins, 2 defeats, and a draw. His first appearance in New York City. And Sergio, there's not many people in the building yet, but still, you're fighting at Madison Square Garden. Got to be a huge moment in his young career.
This is the biggest moment of this man's career. And look, there's not much video on him, but I do study the numbers. And Kevin Castillo, all his 5 wins were to non-winners. I mean, he has 0 power. The man is from Ecuador, not a hotbed for boxing. I'm curious to see what this man from Ecuador could do against another fighter that's learning on the job, undefeated, in Zizo Almaayouf.
Welcome to the ring from Saudi Arabia, Ziad Zizo Almaayouf.
They call him Zizo, and boy, has he had some bright lights to shine under. Made his debut on the undercard of Usyk versus Joshua. His most recent show was topped by Joshua in Ngannou. And now he's coming to the ring with Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson as the main event. Chris, he's getting everything he could possibly get to be successful. He's 7-0-1, but how good is he really?
Yeah, he's an evolving fighter, no doubt about that. Didn't show a great skill set very early in his career. Had a draw 2 fights earlier. Showed some improvement in his last fight. What I like about Zizo, though, is he is a dedicated worker. You're going to see in the corner for him, Buddy McGirt, the Hall of Famer, the master of the jab. That's what Zizo said you're going to see tonight. The same jab that Buddy McGirt has taught so many great fighters, he's going to show it from Zizo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ring 6. Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson from the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden in New York City. It is being brought to you by Ring Magazine, Sella, and Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing in association with Bob Arum for Top Rank Incorporated. With a very special thank you to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It's brought to you along with their great sponsors. Thomas J. Henry Law Firm, Everlast, Halo, IFX Payments, DoorDash, and DraftKings. We get things started with 8 rounds scheduled in the super lightweight division. The judges are Mark Constantino, Glenn Feldman, and Steve Weisfeld. Our referee in charge will be Ricky Gonzalez. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, he comes to the ring wearing red with black and white and weighed in officially at 140.8 pounds. A native of Quito, Ecuador, now fighting out of Miami, Florida. He brings a professional record of 5 wins, 2 defeats, and 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kevin Teddy Castillo. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing white with green and weighed in officially at 141.2 pounds. Hailing from Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, he is undefeated with 7 wins. 1 draw, 1 win comes by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the fighting pride of the Arab world, Ziad Zizo Almaayouf.
García Vega de Cabrino, dejaste todo el tiempo y puedes subir del resto del tiempo. Esta línea acá arriba está bien. I gave you instructions in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. The line here, above, is good.
Looking to remain perfect as he faces Kevin Castillo in the biggest fight of his life. After starting his career a perfect 5-0, Castillo has gone 0-2-1 in his last 3 fights. Almaayouf, 25 years old, knocked out his first opponent. Since then, 7 straight fights that have gone to decision. Almaayouf in the white trunks, Castillo in the red. See if we can lay down a good marker. Sometimes, Sergio, the first fight of the night kind of is a precursor of what's to come tonight.
Well, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of boxing, several decisions. Zizo here is not a puncher, 7-0-1, 1 knockout, but they're moving him nicely because he's no amateur experience from Zizo. So everything that he's learning as a professional, he's learning it inside that ring.
You know what I like from Zizo right away, triple jabs. 3 straight times he's thrown the triple jab. That is a hallmark of a Buddy McGirt fighter. Buddy wants you throwing, I don't know, upwards of 30, 40 jabs per round, if not more. Already seeing that early from Zizo.
And the development has been a lot faster because of a great trainer like Buddy McGirt, who used to be a former champion boxer as well, welterweight. So not only as a world champion trainer, but also world champion boxer in his corner.
You know, Zizo still fights with that kind of arms crossed style that we saw as an amateur. He's gotten, or his early fights, he's gotten a little bit away from that to a more traditional style, but he still keeps that right hand up, kind of trying to parry some of the punches that are coming in.
Castillo's fought 6 times in Spain, hasn't lost there. The 2 fights he's had outside of that country, he's 0-2.
Yeah, that cross-arm defense I'm not a fan of because there's always opening if you're a hooking type puncher. Ken Norton was famous for that, but not that many people get away from it.
Well, if you're Buddy McGirt, do you say, no, we got to change your defense? Or do you say, hey, this is the way you feel comfortable, this is the way you go?
You got to break him all the way down, right? Like, to Sergio's point, there wasn't an amateur background for Zizo. You really are dealing with just a very enthusiastic young man who wants to be a boxer. I was talking to Buddy about Zizo this week, and he said, look, he's getting better, incrementally better, and he said he's doing it in every area.
And I could see that. I could see that he's not stepping back too far away from the attack. He's more comfortable inside that ring. He's more comfortable unleashing that right hand, and of course, jabbing a lot more. So I could see the development.
Yeah, he's having a good opening round here. Some brilliant jab work, and then caught Castillo with a straight right.
Early in Zizo's career, he was stepping back too far. He was too jittery and jumpy. Now he's a little bit more cool in that pocket, staying in the middle of the ring, and shifting just slightly to not get away from range of punching.
This is the first time Zizo has been scheduled in an 8-rounder. He's completed the 6-round distance 4 times. But this will be uncharted territory if it lasts that long. Right hand, and that drops Castillo.
Set that up with a double left jab right behind that glove. Beautiful shot by Zizo.
Power of the jab. He had Castillo thinking jab all the way through, came back over the top with the right hand.
A dream start here for Saudi Arabia's Ziad Zizo Almaayouf.
Yo, put your legs up. Stand your ground. Keep that hard jab in his face, okay? Now listen, you're not caught with a nice right hand, but let's pick up where you left off with the jab. Don't get crazy, you understand me? Take a nice deep breath. Hey, when he attacks you, stand your ground, Ziz.
Double jab, hiding that right hand right behind that second jab. Beautiful shot there by Zizo, who's not known as a puncher, but when you're doing it behind technique, then those long arms and broad shoulders, they'll generate power if you're able to do it. Beautiful shot by Almaayouf.
I like it, Sergio, because as you well know, that jab doesn't have to be a scoring punch. You just have to get the guy's eyes on it so you can come over with that right hand.
Buddy McGirt in the corner telling Almaayouf, stand your ground, stick that jab right in his face.
Ooh, wait a minute, but he needs to watch out with right hand himself. Castillo just barely missed a big right hand himself.
Now, if you're Zizo, you want to try to get back to a little bit more separation. You got some nice length there. Use it. Throwing that jab.
Zizo looking for his first knockout in 7 fights. He dropped Castillo in round 1.
And you got to be careful when you're a young, ambitious fighter. When you get an early knockdown, you know, you go looking for the knockout, and sometimes it turns on you. So he needs to stay focused. Stay jabbing, stay in the middle of the ring. That right hand will open up again.
Basically, don't get careless.
And don't get careless. That's when maturity comes in.
Well, the one thing that Zizo also has going in his favor, another thing, is that Castillo really has no power to speak of, does not have a knockout in his professional career.
And anytime they step up in competition, he has lost. So this is the right matchup for a learning fighter in Zizo Almaayouf.
And a confidence builder for sure.
Stop. I would like to see Zizo try to make Castillo miss, you know, upper body movement, make him miss, dig some body shots. Zizo's really good with a 1-2 punch, right? So he's in and out with his footwork. He's 1-2. He manages distance really well because he's tall. But he needs to learn how to fight these shoulder guys on the inside with body shots, punching and dipping, getting angles, walking them back. These are all things he can learn on the job.
The only blemish to date on Zizo's career is a 6-round majority draw against Juan Carlos Ramirez. That was 2 fights ago. Was lucky to get a draw in that fight, some felt.
Good left hand there. Came in with that Sergio's favorite, the 2-1.
There it is again. There it is again. It's a nice combination, confusing because it's basically a 1-2 from the left-handed stance. You know, fighters are accustomed to seeing that left hand, that 1-2 coming, but when you throw the 2-1, you throw a little mix in the boxing.
And there's a cut on the left eye now of Castillo.
Yeah,
so he's been dropped and cut.
I think that's from a punch, that jab from Zizo landing right in that area.
I would love to see Zizo do a 2-1-2. You know, you can put the power in the last right hand. You throw away the first 2 shots just to break the range and surprise him with a big right hand. Zizo does have athletic feet. I remember early in his fights, he would jump up in and out, his real fast feet, quick twitch muscles, but that was working against him when he wasn't punching. Now, you know, he's punching, he's jabbing, he's doing a lot better, so the feet actually are a lot more calm now.
Why are you backing up so much? Come on.
She's not
up, you give him confidence. Don't give him no fucking confidence. When you're inside, keep your hands in front. You understand me? You understand me? You're making this harder than it has to be. Okay? Go back to the jab. Stay low. When he tried to keep the defense tight, and punch inside. Let's go, buddy. Let's go.
I think Buddy McGirt wants Zizou to jab just as many times as he breathes.
And not back up so much. They want Zizou on the front foot. I think that's a good idea by Buddy. Just jab your way in, backing up Castillo. Castillo has heavy feet. If you walk him backwards, he can fall off balance.
Castillo is just the second opponent that Zizou has faced that has a winning record.
The problem with being aggressive going forward like that is that you open up yourself with overhand rights, and that's what Castillo is looking for, is that haymaker right hand.
Castillo trying to find some success. Sergio, what would your advice be to him?
See, there it is right there. He threw an overhand right. He's throwing away right hands to the midsection of Zizou. Zizou's a little bit too upright, so you can get him to fall over the front foot and catch him with overhand rights. That's what I would do if you're Castillo.
Castillo looks a little bit like Mario Barrios. Do you see that, Sergio? A little
He
bit?
does. He has that
the tattoos, the look.
That Aztec look, the Native American tough guy look.
You can see Barrios versus Ryan Garcia.
There's that right hand, guys. Castillo's looking for an overhand right, and he's doing the right thing by throwing away the right hand downstairs, and Zizou's falling for it right now because his upper body is too stiff. That right hand's bound to land by Castillo. See how he's throwing away that right hand?
Oh, caught him with a left hook. Castillo having his best round here in the third. Another one.
Castillo turning southpaw now, throwing that overhand left, trying to baffle Almaayouf, and I think it's working right now. He's having a good round.
Yeah, I think the left eye of Zizou is causing some problems. You see swelling, he keeps blinking it, getting a mouse under it. But this is a very physical third round. Nice right hand, and again, and Zizou's balance looks a little compromised here.
No, he got rocked by that right hand, guys, and that's the punch that Castillo's looking for. He's looping it over the top, and Almaayouf has zero upper body movement.
The foundation still looks wobbly, doesn't it, Chris?
Zizou's rocked.
Yeah, it looked like he caught a little bit of a temple shot there with that right hand, and he's gotten away from what made him successful in the first round and a half, just sticking that jab out there. Now he's just doing a fight in a phone booth with Castillo.
You have almost 5 inches in height if you're Zizou Almaayouf. He should be using every single bit of it and sticking that jab out there, because this is not the fight for him. You can see his eyes getting bruised up, might be shutting. This is Castillo's big round for him.
Quite the turnaround for Castillo after being dropped in round number 1.
Yeah, they're going to have to do some work on that left eye over the next couple of rounds. That mouse is only going to get worse.
Yeah, get the inswell ready to go. But a great round for the Ecuadorian here, but Zizou showing some heart. Pretty good scrap to kick things off here at MSG.
There's that long jab that Zizou was doing well in the first round. Missing that right hand, falling off balance, but there's that looping shot that Castillo's looking for, that overhand right. And landed right on the side of the head. You can see the legs kind of giving out on Almaayouf right there. You better not be getting hit near that temple, because those legs will give out on him.
Listen, you started off good. Let's get back to where you started, okay? Keep the defense tight. When he gets close, punch inside. Okay, don't look to land the one headshot. Hit him anywhere inside. Okay?
Deep breath. Take some deep breath.
And you got to keep that jab working on that cut. Keep hitting him in the eye with that jab, Ziz. Let's go.
Let's see if Almaayouf can regain the momentum here in the fourth round, where he was wobbled there in the third by Castillo.
There's that jab that Buddy McGirt wants. I mean, that's what's going to set up that right hand again. You got to hide that right hand behind double and triple jabs. You know, you throw away one jab, you pump the other, and then you hide that right hand right behind it.
They put the in-swell on that left eye, Chris, but it didn't seem to do much to it.
Yeah, it's still looking like it could be problematic. And this is an 8-round fight. Zizo's first career 8-round fight.
The first 8-round fight for Castillo as well. But we're currently in the 4th, and this could go either way.
Good stiff jab there by Castillo.
You know, Buddy McGirt's right. Zizo needs to not focus so much on the inside on these headshots. Just dig to the body, hit anywhere on Castillo. Don't try to look for one home run shot.
Zizo coming off a career-long, nearly 1-year absence since his last fight. That was in February 22nd of 2025.
Overhand rights landed by Castillo again. Zizo better start moving his head to the left because he's dipping down to the right too much, and he's actually getting hit with that right hand over and over. You can't keep giving your opponent the same look, you know, whether it's with the jab or with your defense moving to your head to the same side.
Good body work from Castillo.
And that's what they want. They keep yelling in the corner of Castillo. Keep
nice
that
1-2,
body.
and you saw the knees again buckle for Zizo.
Yeah, there's a big edge in power shots right now in favor of Castillo. And he's starting to wear on Zizo.
Yeah, Zizo started this fight so well, and boy, things have really taken a dramatic turn.
I don't know if it's that eye swelling up, but Castillo's barely missing right hands, and Zizo's not even, he can't even see them.
Well, you said, Sergio, in so many words, that sometimes an early knockdown can kind of play against you a little bit, and maybe it did for Zizo, where he got a little overconfident.
Good body shot by Castillo. I think Zizo didn't like that shot. That hurt him downstairs. But yeah, the adrenaline rush of getting a knockdown, Todd, you think that the fight's gonna end there, and the next thing you know, you have 4, 5, 6, 10 rounds to go. So sometimes it works against the fighter with early knockouts. That surge of confidence and adrenaline.
Is that what happened for you against Daniel Jacobs in the first fight?
Yeah, but I've been dropped early in a lot of fights, and yes.
No, but you dropped him early.
But I dropped other guys after that as well.
Good combination there from Zizo.
But yeah, you get that adrenaline rush, that fight or flight.
Yeah. Good round, and Castillo really grabbing this fight by the scruff of the neck.
Those body shots were good by Castillo this round.
And the Spaniard walks to the corner with a big smile on his face. He's loving it.
Okay, push him back, and inside you gotta let your hands go. Okay. When he backs you up, he gets red.
Straight jab, both of them eating, but there was a right hand behind Castillo's, and on the inside, when he did break that range, Castillo was digging nice to the body. There's that shot that hurt. You could tell that hurt Zizo Almaayouf. He didn't like those shots. He gave a little look, the body language changed, the legs trembled. Good shot, good round for Kevin Castillo.
Just let your hands go. We gotta score points.
As the great Dusty Rhodes once said, he wants to make your knees freeze and your liver quiver.
Who's Dusty Rhodes?
The American Dream. Greatest wrestler maybe of all time, Sergio.
You walked into that one, you know that, right?
Here we go. Round 5. Chris, I know you're not scoring this officially, but how many rounds have you given Castillo?
Look, I think the first 2 could have gone for Ziad Almaayouf, and the last 3 in the direction of Kevin Castillo. Last 2 rounds in the direction, so it could be even up. And if you're going to edge it one way, I think Castillo's got some real momentum here. The power shots are a big advantage for him right now. Zizo's got to find a way to get back on that jab, keep this guy at a distance.
I agree. I think that Castillo actually gets some momentum, and he's landing the shots. Good shots, jab, right hand, body shots, and you can see that, there it is, good shot downstairs. The confidence is brewing on Kevin Castillo.
Remember though, Zizo does have that 10-8 in round 1 after dropping Castillo. That could loom large in a 8-round fight. Nice shot there from Zizo with the left.
Yeah, but Castillo checked him with that left hook. See, right now, Almaayouf is doing well when he's jabbing behind that long left hand, and he hides that right hand. But once he starts hooking or breaking that range, giving up his height, that's when Castillo takes advantage.
He has some moments, Sergio, but then he seems to just freeze and just leave himself as a stationary target for Castillo to come in.
And that's the lack of experience, the lack of punching and dipping. When you're just thinking either offense or defense, you got to think both when you start evolving in boxing. You throw away some shots, you punch and dip. Always check your defense.
Now you got to hit and you got to get out.
Another body shot there from Castillo, and you can see the arms drop for Almaayouf.
Yup, Castillo's hurting Zizo to the body. He's catching him upstairs. He has him bruised up, eyes shut. Zizo's gonna have to show some. He's gonna have to face adversity and show something, man. Because right now Castillo's brimming with confidence.
Now I'll tell you this about Castillo: he did not come to New York
knocked
City.
his mouthpiece out. Castillo right now feeling like King Kong in there, even though he's never got a knockout in his career.
Castillo did not come to New York just to be an opponent for Zizo Almaayouf. All week long, we've been talking to him. He's been saying, I'm here to win. I believe I can win this fight.
Born in Ecuador, calls Spain home. Kevin Castillo.
Ooh, there's that right hand by Castillo. And there's an opening for that right hand because Almaayouf is keeping his head in the line of fire. He's not moving his upper body.
And the eye continues to swell.
And that left arm is dropping, trying to protect the body. Almaayouf better watch out for that overhand right.
Well, if Almaayouf does one day believe he can become a contender, it's fights like this where he's going to have to dig deep and find a way to win. Can't lose to a fighter like this at this stage of your career. Zizo a big favorite, according to the lines in Las Vegas. Showing some good head movement there to end the 5th round.
Put your legs out, just put your legs out. It's this, when you stay inside and work, you're doing good. Okay, you
Coming
get in and hit
the
on
big
the
boys
outside.
open up for pay-per-view as Brooklyn native Drell Big Baby Miller takes on the very dangerous Kingsley, the Black Lion eBay, as both men look to move up the heavyweight rankings. Should be a real cracker to start the show. Sergio, how long does that one go?
Both of them got big power. Miller has a lot to prove. I don't think it goes past 4 rounds. Two big boys with big power. Clash of heads is actually what caused that mouthpiece to go flying out of Zizo's mouth, but also body shots. The reason that the mouth is open
That was
is
a punch. That was a punch that knocked the mouthpiece out of the mouth. Left hand from Castillo.
Well, he loves correcting you, doesn't he, Sergio? Just so
I'm just trying to be useful.
No, actually, he was right.
See?
I mean, when I stand corrected, I gotta admit, Mannix was right.
There you go.
Instigator.
Also, the Josh Kelly fight. Chris, did you want to chime in on that?
I loved it. I loved it. Sergio watched one fight of Bakram Murtazaliev. Murtazalia, we keep screwing that one up. One fight and predicted him to be the Ivan Drago of the 154
Listen,
pound
I was
division.
wrong about 2 potential boogeymen in Subriel Matias and Bakram Murtazaliev, but that's what power does. It intimidates other fighters, other boxers, and they look like the real deal.
Now, maybe watch more than one fight.
Or maybe give credit to guys like Leon Paro and Josh Kelly because they're the goods.
I do.
Well, can't wait to hear the podcast. You guys taping that tomorrow? Do we need to get bodyguards in there? The fan zone says Castillo went, out comes a mouthpiece again for Zizo.
Those right hands are landing now. A lot more speed coming behind the punches of Castillo.
Stop. Tie. Yeah. It's your second time.
Yeah, usually you'll get a warning, and they will.
Well, yeah, that's the warning, second time. And after that, they usually take a point away. And that's not something that Zizo Almaayouf can withstand if he hopes to win this fight.
Let's see what kind of urgency Zizo shows here with 2 minutes to go in round 6. Needs to win one of these rounds definitively.
Castillo's landing some good shots.
Nice uppercut. Haven't seen that punch.
Yeah, that right hand's landing every which way for Kevin Castillo. It comes uppercuts, right hooks, right overhand rights. And look at the confidence in Kevin Castillo. Look at the look in his face, the bounce on his feet.
He seems to be getting better every round.
And
he's figuring it out.
Exactly, and Zizo Almaayouf is actually falling a step and a punch behind every round.
Do you think the southpaw stance has anything to do with it?
No, because Castillo's not doing anything from that southpaw stance. Everything's coming from that orthodox.
Oh, and there's a straight right hand. A deadly shot that Zizo ate right on the chin.
And he's holding on now.
Oh. If Castillo had any power, that might have been lights out.
Every time Kevin Castillo has stepped up in competition with a boxer with a winning record, he has lost. Right now, he's shining with a guy that's 7-0. There's that right hand.
Yeah, Castillo just seems like he's in a real rhythm right now, having fun in the ring, and Zizo just can't seem to figure him out.
He's taunting him like Margarito in there.
You're comparing Castillo to a lot of fighters, Tom.
We don't have any footage of him. We're digging deep here. But the way he's just taunting him and bouncing and having fun. And
fighters and gorillas. Didn't you just say King Kong too?
Yeah.
Oh, good body shot by Castillo.
Zizo landed one as well. But right now, blood coming out of his mouth. You can just see in the body language in the face of Zizo, this is turning into a nightmare.
Oh, he's getting broken down. Body shots, head shots, over the top, looping shots. Zizo Almaayouf is getting beaten down.
And there's Ammo Williams, and Chris, you can try and explain who he's fighting and why in 30 seconds.
Ammo Williams is fighting Wendy Tusan because Carlos Adames withdrew on the day of the weigh-in. A lot of confusion right now about why Adames is out. There was the word of dehydration. I was told there was a weight cut issue. There's also a bicep injury with Carlos Adames, but in is going to step Wendy Tusan, who is a solid fighter, solid replacement in the last minute. That's going to fight Ammo Williams at 168 pounds.
Yeah, Sergio, there's some concern about how big he might be for that fight as we watch this right hand on the butt.
Oh, what a shot. Both punches landed right on that bruised dive. 1, 2. And it's either he's not seeing that right hand come because of the swelling, or he just lacks defense and head movement. And I'm leaning towards the latter. Almaayouf needs more upper body movement. He's a stiff target.
And now both of these fighters seeing round 7 for the first time in their career.
Good body shot there by Castillo. See, he's throwing away shots up downstairs just to loop him over the top like that. Castillo already found an ammo here. Throw a couple body shots downstairs to get the arms down of Almaayouf, just to loop your shots over the top, and they're landing.
Sergio, why was Almaayouf doing so well in the first 2 rounds and then it just went south in such a hurry?
2 things. He stopped jabbing and he started getting hit by punches. He didn't know how to react defensively. Guys like Almaayouf, if they're on 1 gear, being in charge with the jab, they're going to give you that 1 gear for the entire fight. Once you start facing adversity, getting hit, that's when the real fighter comes out and you know what you have.
Oh, another right hand to the body. Sorry, Chris.
I just don't like that defense from Almaayouf, but never really have, where he kind of leans forward and keeps that right hand pawing above. I mean, it makes things too complicated, Sergio.
Oh, good left hand there for Almaayouf.
It's a cross-arm defense, and it opens up certain shots that you can change the trajectory of a shot coming from over to the bottom and it lands through. There's always an opening with that kind of guard.
So right now, if you're a fan of Almaayouf, you know he won the first round with that knockdown and the second. Possibly they gave him the third, but since then, it's all Kevin Castillo.
Good right hand, though, from Zizo.
See, the jab is gone from Zizo Almaayouf. No more jabs. That's why he was controlling that range, controlling that distance, hiding those right hands. And now arms are down, not jabbing, not moving his upper body movement. And that's the reason he's getting caught with glancing shots like that, falling off balance.
Castillo looking to snap a 3-fight non-winning skid. Almaayouf trying to keep his perfect record intact. At this point, Zizo needs these last 2 rounds desperately. Might even need another knockdown as he eats another power punch.
He's getting rocked by those right hands, and that's where that cross-arm defense is going to fail him.
And now Zizo's body language telling us that he might be ready to go down if Castillo can push the gas pedal down.
Castillo's throwing the right punches. He's bumping him to make some room just to land the right hand.
I'll tell you what, Zizo giving us a lot of heart, though. Not taking a step back, staying in the line of fire.
Yeah, both these guys have a comparable number of professional fights, but Castillo just looks like the much more polished fighter.
Last round, touch gloves.
Hey, the last round you got to keep your defense tight, Ziz, and you got to stay in his chest. You understand me? You got to stay. Don't pull out. Keep your head in his chest, Ziz. You hear me?
You got it.
Okay, and keep your hands moving.
You got it.
And getting under those shots. You got to win this round big.
Beautiful shot right here. Nice, simple 1-2 punch, and because Almaayouf lacks upper body movement, it doesn't take much to land shots. It's the easiest combination in the book. A 1. And then he dug downstairs with that hook, and that's been taking the legs of Almaayouf, and that's been taking the conditioning. Castillo found a home for body shots, and that's been rocking and taking the conditioning in the legs from Almaayouf.
Chris, we knew what to expect from Zizo, but did you think Kevin Castillo would be as good as he looks right now?
It was impossible to tell given the lack of footage that's out there about Kevin Castillo. All I can say is this kid came in really confident that he was going to win this fight and understood the magnitude of the moment fighting here at MSG.
No footage, no resume, no power as far as his knockout ratio indicates, but he could fight. Castillo couldn't fight.
And Buddy McGirt telling Zizo, you have to win this round. There's no doubt about it. And he's right in the middle of the ring doing the best he can. But this is the kind of fight Castillo wants. Phone booth action. Big right hand again from Castillo. And that defense just doesn't get the job done, does it?
No, it does not. I hate that defense. Certain fighters got away with that defense. I would say Ken Norton, Coach Foreman sometimes. But these are big men with big shoulders and biceps to be able to hide that, but that's not the case with Zizo Almaayouf.
And you're talking about Hall of Fame boxers.
Oh, another right hand from Castillo. How is Zizo on his feet?
Oh, that hurt Zizo. Almaayouf's hurt.
Stop. Pick that up.
Castillo has no knockout power, and he's landing these shots, and he's still rocking Almaayouf.
Plenty of heart and courage from Almaayouf. But at some point, he's got to land some of these himself.
I'll tell you what, even if Castillo had more hand speed, he would be able to stop Almaayouf right here. Not the power, but the speed and the combinations.
Zizo going out on a shield. Mad respect to the first professional Saudi fighter ever to appear on Madison Square Garden fight card.
Stop.
A minute to go. He's just exhausted, isn't he?
Those are body shots that took it out of him.
And I'm sure Sergio 8 rounds feels a lot tougher than 6 rounds.
Oh, it's a next step in the development of a fighter. Go 6 minutes, and then from 8 rounds to 10 and so on. But yeah, 6 minutes is an eternity in professional boxing.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I don't think it matters all that much in the context of this fight. I don't think that Zizo was really competitive from the 3rd round on. He had that knockdown in the 1st round. That was a solid moment, but really since then it's been a slow regression to where we've gotten to this point.
20 seconds left. And credit to Kevin Castillo, who's flipped this fight on its head and got off the canvas to deliver a real beating to Zizo Almaayouf.
Oh, that right hand can't miss anymore.
And they both slug it out. What a fight to start this Madison Square Garden fight card.
And we might have an upset here. The first one of the night.
Well, Zizo thinks he did enough, Chris.
I don't think he did. Good effort in the early stages. Great heart, great chin. But I thought from the 3rd round on, he was outclassed by Kevin Castillo. Just didn't have answers for the power shots of Castillo.
Outclassed and outfought. Let's keep it real. Castillo came here to fight. Almaayouf came to box. And Castillo just took it away from him. Almaayouf started off good when he was jabbing. He was bouncing, keeping that range. Castillo was slowly breaking him down with those body shots, the looping overhand rights. Almaayouf's defense failed him here. Not the footwork, not the jab. It was body shots and lack of head movement.
Well, Almaayouf seems to think he did enough. Very emphatically celebrating in his corner. We shall see.
You can always tell, though, guys, like, in the moment, after that bell rings, that's when you usually tell when a guy knows that he won the fight. In that moment, Kevin Castillo did an immediate celebration. Ziad Almaayouf just kind of stood there and watched.
Well, in tonight's co-main event, Keyshawn Davis is back in the ring with something to prove. Once again, chasing his spot among the elite in the junior welterweight division. Davis steps into deep waters against the dangerous and determined Jermaine Ortiz. Coming up later tonight, exclusively on DAZN. Well, the first 2 rounds, we were impressed by what we saw from Almaayouf. You're talking about how great his jab looked, how much more comfortable he looked. Sergio, his ring IQ, but then it all fell apart.
And that's what happens whenever you don't have another gear, when your defense, betrays you. Zizo and a lot of fighters, a lot of young fighters, they just focus on the jab, the 1-2. They focus on offense, but they lack defense, and I think that's what betrayed Almaayouf is footwork, upper body movement, and no catching counters.
All right, Thomas Triber is in the ring and has the scores. Is Almaayouf about to suffer his first loss as a pro? Let's find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Glenn Feldman scores it 78-73, and both judges, Mark Constantino and Steve Weisfeld, are in agreement. They both scored the same, 77-74, all for your winner by unanimous decision. Kevin Teddy Castillo.
No real drama on the fight cards. A decisive win for Kevin Castillo, the biggest of his career.
And listen, credit to the judges. I mean, that man deserves to win. Kevin Castillo comes here and he upsets the undefeated Zizo Almaayouf. I mean, a lot of high hopes are from Almaayouf. And credit to Buddy McGirt for doing what he can. But whenever you lack amateur experience and whenever you lack a lot of sparring around your region, this is what happens. He got this far, but now he's going to have to even work harder to get even farther.
Yeah, Zizo started off the fight strong, but it was Castillo that stormed to the finish. A 167-41 edge in punches landed over the last 3 rounds. He was just burying Zizo in punches. There's the very beginning of this fight. 2 great jabs from Zizo, landed clean. Then he comes over the top with that right hand to score the knockdown. But Sergio, from there, it was really Kevin Castillo taking control and showing that his class was better.
Yeah, but the fact that he was able to make himself smaller, he took advantage of the taller fighter. I mean, Zizo had almost 5 inches in height, but it worked against him because Castillo knew how to bend down and fight like a smaller man and loop the shots over the top.
So credit to Kevin Castillo, who was winless in his last 3, picks up a win here, the biggest of his life. He's now 6-2-1, and for Zizo Almaayouf, he drops to 7-1-1. And now we're really going to find out what Almaayouf is made of, because this is kind of one of those crossroad moments in his career where he can say, hey, can I go back to the lab? Can I get better? Should I continue this battle, or do I not?
He's a young guy, 25 years old, and he is dedicated to this sport. He comes to the U.S., trains with Buddy McGirt, travels the country, getting great sparring. I have no doubt that he's going to get back in the gym and try to push himself to that next level.
All right, let's send it back upstairs to Kate Scott.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. Very warm welcome back here to our host position, which is up here at the top of the iconic Madison Square Garden. I'm Kate Scott with senior ring insider Mike Coppinger, former heavyweight contender and world-class trainer Malik Scott. Good to have you with us. So let's talk about what we just saw there. Ziad Almaayouf moving to 7-1-1 in his record, first professional loss. How hard is the first professional loss to take? And you also know his trainer, Buddy McGirt. Well, that would be a bitter result for them.
It's going to be pretty tough for him, but in my opinion, Zizo has a lot to work on. He's too in the cross guard, too long. He gets hit with shots that he shouldn't get hit with, and it's not because Buddy's not giving him the information. Sometimes fighters be in fights and they get good corner work, but they just can't execute, and that's a mental thing, and he's going to have to come back from that.
I mean, you wonder kind of where it goes from now, because he's a fighter that we've seen very heavily promoted by the ring. So what do you think will be next for him? Do they have to kind of go back to the drawing board and see what level he should be fighting at?
Yeah, look, I think if you can't beat a Kevin Castillo, and look, Castillo gave a great effort, but obviously if you can't beat that level, then you have to go back to the drawing board, Kate, and maybe he needs more time with Buddy McGirt and see where he's at, but obviously he's going to have to drop the level just a little bit.
I want to take us through the highlights real quick and just kind of look back at this fight. I think I'm going to ask you to lead us through this and just kind of talk us through what we're seeing in terms of the work that you think was lacking from Zizo and what Kevin Castillo did well.
See right here, Zizo was throwing his right hand good here, and that's when he got the knockdown. But after that moment, he had no real good moments. Here is where he starts just getting hit with shots. His lead hand is down. He landed a good jab there, but after all his sequences, look, he's in that cross guard, open for the hook, and he's actually open for not just the hook, but the 3-2 behind it, and he didn't have no defense for it. Coming in offensively with your lead hand down, look, his lead hand is never coming up. That adjustment have to be made during that time. Another right hand landed. How do you know it's time to get your lead hand up when you constantly getting hit with right hands? And the adjustment never was made, and it cost him.
I mean, if you're Kevin Castillo, Mike, you came into this fight knowing that they wanted to see Zizo win, probably. You know, Zizo was considered the A-side in the fight. You come in here, you get a big win on a big stage. Where does he go from here?
I think Kevin Castillo certainly, Kate, has earned more opportunities for himself in this kind of role, playing spoiler, being the B-side, being the opponent. That's a good place to be. And as Chris Mannix said, this guy was confident all week long. I interviewed him yesterday after the weigh-in, and he was just oozing confidence. I mean, he even had Bart Simpson, I Carumba shorts on, so that's how I knew the upset might have been in the air.
Yeah, he definitely didn't get the memo. He come here to be an opponent. He came here to do the job, and he did a good job. More
Mike, take a look at the
way.
stats for me. Total punches here, obviously heavily favors Castillo. That kind of reflective of what we saw in the ring?
I would say it just seemed like he was a lot more busy. The numbers say that. It seemed like he was a lot more accurate. The numbers say that. Zizo was in the fight, but to me, he wasn't in the fight besides the knockdown doing anything else effectively, like nothing else.
So if you're going back into the gym with Zizo, what do you now work on? What's project number one?
The first thing I would do is teach him to get out of that cross guard. That cross guard is not for him. He doesn't have the amateur experience to me to be just in the cross guard. He's not blocking left hooks and catching right hands from the cross guard. The cross guard, in my opinion, was his demise tonight. Not his coach, not the opponent, being in that cross guard and giving credit to the opponent. He was able to take advantage of that by constantly throwing 3-2s, constantly throwing lead right hands. He got to get his hands up. He got to get his hand positioning right, and I'm sure him and Buddy is going to work on it.
You said you were around Castillo in fight. We've obviously interviewed them at the weigh-ins, didn't you? What about Zizo? Did you get a chance to speak to him, and did you get any kind of sense of what kind of place they were in?
Not this week, Kate, but I've dealt with him a lot in the past, being in Riyadh, being in Saudi, and look, you saw, right, he's a very energetic guy. He talks about being a superhero and a role model for the fans back in Saudi, and he showed a lot of courage and a lot of heart. And it's a dream of Turki Al Sheikh's, right, to crown a first world champion from Saudi Arabia. The two biggest projects and prospects from the area, Mohammed Al Khal and Sultan Al Mohammed.
I want to talk to you guys about the next fight that we have coming up tonight, which is Ammo Williams, who's going to have to deal with a very last-minute opponent change. The WBC middleweight champ Carlos Adam, as we know, he had to pull out yesterday with some issues. Wendy Tusan steps in just at 1 day's notice. It's such a late turnaround. If you're Wendy Tusan, you haven't fought in 6 months. Are you ready for a 10-rounder tonight? I
think if you haven't fought in 6 months, hypothetically, but your last fight, you beat an undefeated guy. Guys like Wendy is always looking for and praying for his opportunity. Tonight he got it, or I think it was yesterday he got it. This is not 2 days before he got the call. He got the call basically in the same 24 to 48 hours of the fight.
Yeah.
We're going to see if he take advantage of this opportunity. We're just going to have to see. I'm looking forward to it.
This had to have been a completely mad scramble to make this work in terms of, you know, a fighter has to deal with all the paperwork, there's the medicals to take care of. How difficult was it to get this fight done and to save this fight on the card for Ammo Williams?
Yeah, it was an absolute crisis mode for the team at Matchroom and Sella and the ring, getting this over the line. Like you said, Kate, you have to be on weight, right? You have to have your medicals done, all of that, and have to be able to travel to the area to be able to weigh in on Friday ahead of the fight. Luckily, Wendy Tusan was getting ready for a fight on February 28th on Long Island. So he was in camp, he was ready to go, and opportunity calls now.
Still, to be on weight a couple of months out is crazy. That's incredible that he managed to weigh in. Let me talk to you about Ammo Williams, because I know you were talking to their camp today. Here's Wendy Tusan. Actually, let's speak about him for just a second. Mike, what can you tell us about him as a fighter?
Look, he's driving a bus, as Eddie Hearn said earlier in the show, right? This is a guy that's hungry. And Ammo Williams is getting ready to fight at middleweight. Now the fight's going to be at 168, and that makes a lot of sense. You can't expect a guy to make that weight on a day's notice. But you look at the physique he's in, the kind of shape he's in. Like you said, this guy has obviously been training and ready. And I know it's cliche, but they say, especially in boxing, when your number's called, you better be ready.
Absolutely. And looking at him here, even though pads don't hit back, but right now I'm just looking at the structure and how his base is, how snappy the punches are, and he's calm and cool. And we want to see if he can pull it off, anything off tonight against Ammo, because we can't forget Ammo is ready. This was a huge opportunity for him, and we're going to see if he just make quick work of this guy or not. And Ammo here, with one of the best trainers in the world, especially training southpaws. Cunningham has had Corey Spink against Zab Judah. He's also had former, I believe, one of the champions, Devin Alexander, another southpaw. So this is not by accident. Ammo is looking sharp. He said this was the best camp he's ever been this focused in. And I'm very happy that he was able to get a fight. Even though it was in short time, he got a new opponent, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I know Ammo Williams really well. I've watched him spar dozens of rounds in camp, and he's an incredibly athletic guy. He took up boxing later in his life, so he's not the most fundamentally sound, but explosive puncher, athletic fighter, and focus has really been his downfall. You know, he fought Hamza Shiraz, was competitive early on, got stopped. If he could be focused and turned on tonight, he can get that title shot, even though it was pulled from him tonight.
What did you learn about him, Malik, in that fight against Hamza Shiraz? The single loss of his career, Hamza Shiraz.
One thing what I learned from him, I already knew it about him, but when I see him do it on the stage against Hamza, his courage, his ability to make the effort to adapt. He tried to make the effort to adapt to Hamza's style, to Hamza's height, but it just wasn't there because Hamza was also on that night, and that was probably, many would say, Hamza's best performance or one of them, and he just caught him on that night. But Ammo came to fight. He showed courage. He showed heart, and he definitely is considered today as one of Hamza's toughest fighters.
Comes in now off the back of 3 straight wins since that loss to Hamza Shiraz. How important is that momentum, do you think, in terms of a fighter going into a big fight?
I think it's incredibly important, Kate. And again, like you said, you're fighting a guy like Hamza. Hamza is very underrated. I think people sleep on him. I know he gets dogged because he had that controversial draw against Carlos Adames, who Ammo was supposed to be fighting tonight. Hamza is a big guy. He's a big puncher. He's snappy. So I don't think people should down Ammo for losing to him. Ammo is in the top 10 of Ring Magazine middleweight rankings, and that is a wide open division, one of the weakest divisions in boxing. So if you could fight a little bit, you could make some noise.
Other than courage, what are the things that you really like about him as a fighter?
He's a tricky southpaw. He don't get credit really for how tricky he is, and that's credit to Cunningham, his trainer, because he's, like I said, he's a professor at southpaws and has so much success. But what I love the most about Ammo is his ability to never give up. In fights, even though he may come up short, it's not because he wasn't trying to make the adjustments against different opponents in their height, their style, their power, their speed. One thing all of his opponents have in common, Kate, is when they all get out the ring with him, they say, Jesus, that guy is tough. So I'm sure he's going to show that plus a whole lot more tonight.
We were speaking to Eddie Hearn, his promoter, earlier on, and Eddie was talking about kind of like the shift in energy when you get that news that, you know, the fight that you were expected to be in, which was a title fight, so a huge prize on the line, is no longer happening. And the other guy gets the boost of energy knowing, hey, I wasn't expecting to be on this stage, now I've got this huge opportunity. Do you think that Ammo will struggle with that kind of the disappointment of a title no longer being on the line?
Well, he have a job to do. He's a professional. things like this happen. I'm sorry it happened to him, but his attitude should almost be like, we're in the time now where these things happen. You look forward to them, you put the work in camp, but you have to be mentally prepared for anything to go a direction that is not comfortable for you. Yesterday it happened to him. So far it seemed like he's handling it good, but we're going to see for sure how he handled it under the lights.
What did you make of how he dealt with it? I'm sure you watched all that situation closely. What did you think?
It's very emotional, and I know, again, Amo's a very emotional guy. It could not have been easy, but don't forget, his last fight was also canceled at the last minute, so this is no stranger to this kind of unforeseen circumstance. You see him right here with Eddie Hearn, who we saw at the top of the show, really consoling him. I can't even imagine, you're set to fight for your first world title, you're fighting the best in the weight class, and to have that opportunity taken from you after what was no doubt a grueling training camp away from your family, your friends, I just can't even imagine. And now he's going to have to deal with not only a different opponent, but just the letdown.
And the advantage or disadvantage, one may say, with Amo is he has a reputation of lack of focus, like you said, Mike. And from what I heard, talking to Cunningham today, talking to other people that's been around his camp, this is the most focused that they ever seen him. So as a fighter, to do everything that you consider to be right, preparation, staying focused, all the sacrifices, and then things like this happen, it can be a bit disappointing, but you have to keep in mind, this is a fight game. Nothing goes straight, nothing is parallel, everything is a Z shape, and an obstacle was thrown at him, and now we're going to see is he a professional and able to handle business tonight in the ring against a late opponent.
I'll tell you what, let's take you down ringside and speak to the boys over there and get their thoughts on this fight. So let's listen into, Todd, what do you guys think? How do you guys see this fight playing out?
Well, we spoke to Amo yesterday, and he said when he got the news from Eddie Hearn, he said he wasn't so much disappointed as he was angry. He said he was furious for 20 minutes. How can this happen again? As you mentioned, his last fight, he had to fight Ivan Vasquez on a 3-day notice. Chris, are we going to let Adames off the hook here, or should he be angry at the champ in this situation?
I think he should be angry at Adames. When I got into the New York City press events on Wednesday, that's when I first started to hear problems with Carlos Adames. He was late for the first press conference. There was some concern about his weight cut. There was some concern about a lingering bicep injury, for what there is photographic evidence out there of. He's got some bicep injury that he's dealing with. And I know Amo Williams' team was aware of this as well. They were just hoping that he could get to the finish line, get in the ring so Amo could compete for his first world title. Unfortunately, he's not. And look, this fight is not going to be for a world title, but if Amo Williams can come out of it unscathed, and we'll talk, I think this is a tougher than maybe people expect type of fight against Wendy Tusan. But if he is able to come out of it unscathed, expect Matchroom to push very hard for Amo Williams to get a WBC title shot in his next fight.
Well, I was going to say, Sergio, in the best case scenario here for Amo Williams, if this were an easy opponent, an easy fight night, he picks up a big check and then gets a future title shot. It could work out glorious, but Tusan may not fit the script.
No, he does not. Beware the late replacement. I can tell you this right now, Todd. They say that boxing's 90% mental, and this is what you're going to find out. Change of opponents always ruin the plans. I don't care how great in shape a fighter is. Everything's mentality. If you were preparing for a championship fight against a boxer puncher, a high-level puncher like Adames, you were up for that. You're not up for a guy named Wendy Tusan who came out of nowhere. And Tusan can fight. He can fight. He's strong. He's a spoiler. He likes to get on the inside. He likes to throw a lot of punches. A Christian Mbili type guy that's going to be hard to penetrate that hard guard. Amo Williams, this is going to be a focus type fight, a mentality type fight, a concentration type fight. It ain't going to be power, and it ain't going to be the game plan they had for Adames. This is all win now, look good later if you're Amo Williams.
Yeah, Tusan has lost 3 times his professional career, and all 3 of those losses have been to undefeated fighters. 1 stoppage, and that came at the hands of Charles Conwell, who was an excellent 154-pounder. I think, Todd, you mentioned Amo's last fight, and I think that can be informative and useful for him. Last time out, he had his IBF eliminator scrapped after his opponent had an eye issue very early in fight week, and that led to a lackluster performance against Ivan Vasquez. He said he learned a lot from that. He said if that didn't happen last time, that he would have been in a completely different frame of mind coming into this fight. But because he experienced that, because he knows what it means to have an opponent fall out, have to pivot to the next one, he says in a much better frame of mind right now. And I agree with what Malik and Mike were saying up there. This guy, Emma Williams, had a phenomenal training camp. 8-week training camp, working with Kevin Cunningham, believing that this was his moment to win a world title. I do think we're going to get the very best of Emma Williams.
Well, Wendy Tusan, nicknamed Haitian Fire. We've heard of guys fighting cab drivers. They used to say that about Chavez. Uber drivers. This guy is indeed a high school bus driver, but he said it's perfect for me. No shame in that, because I drop the kids off at school, I go train, I pick them up, and then I go train again. Talk about spending your time wisely. So Wendy Tusan was preparing apparently for a fight later this month, Chris, but now we're going to have a different weight class. He was supposed to fight at 160 pounds for the middleweight title, was Emma Williams. Now this fight being contested at 168 pounds. What changes will that make?
Well, look, this was all because Wendy Tusan was not able to get to 160. Understandably, he got the call 12 hours before he actually weighed in. So Wendy Tusan, as you can see, a very big guy. Look, he's been campaigning at 154 pounds. This guy looks like a legit middleweight or even super middleweight. Strong arms. He's got good skills. He beat Joseph Hicks, a real guy, at 154 in his last time out. I think this is going to be a tricky fight for Emma Williams to figure out.
All right, so Wendy Tusan and Emma Williams coming up next. It's our second fight on the card, and we'll give it to you when we return. You're watching DAZN.
A lot of people ain't give us the opportunity to show how great we is. A lot of the fighters, I want to say, either they ducked or found the business way not to get in front of me. And I feel like with him, he kind of gave me the opportunity of a lifetime now. Now it's like, okay, you build your career up all this time. Oh, I want to fight this guy, I want to fight this guy, I want to fight this guy. And then the moment comes and it's like, damn, it's here. Like, it kind of like turn you up like, okay, let's go get it now.
You know, we're just coming off the press conference where it seemed like Teofimo Sr. was doing his best to try to get you to commit to fighting the same way you did against Zepeda.
Truthfully, I fight whatever style to win. Whatever style comes up that I got to win a fight is what I'm going to do. So I'm not worried about anything he's talking about. So I just hope they don't expect that version of me, expect a better version of me come fight night, for sure.
What version of him do you expect?
I expect no version. It's the beauty about boxing. You can't expect any version on the fighter.
Well, do you want to see him fight the way he did against Zepeda?
I want him to do what he believes is his greatest attribute. Do that.
He has said he's better than Lomachenko, better than Josh Taylor. Do you believe that?
Absolutely. Let him be what he believes he is. My job is to do what I need to do and become victorious. Defend my stuff. I've done it 3 times, and this is number 4. This is number 4 for the ring. This is number 4 for the WBO. Super. So these are my goals is to defend my throne. It cannot be called the takeover and have someone take it over.
The Locker Room. The new home of DAZN's boxing content. All your big hitters, all in one place.
Lions in the camp. Lions in the camp. Lions in the camp. Welcome on board the rivalry line.
Like, I've never put attention on becoming a star. This just kind of happened.
More exclusive content than ever before.
Welcome to Inside the Ring, boxing's official show of record.
Where boxing lives, breathes, and never stops.
Well, the franchise is considered super. Exactly.
Weekly content from all your favorite creators, promoters, and influencers. The Locker Room, only on DAZN, the global home of boxing.
You went to the bathroom and got...
Very warm welcome back, everybody, to Madison Square Garden. DAZN, as you know, is the global home of boxing. We've got so much content for you on the platform. You can visit the Locker Room for exclusive must-see shows, bringing you closer to the biggest fights Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson go head-to-head in a battle of mind games in face-off. You can step inside Shakur's camp for an exclusive look at his intense preparations for fight night, and you can hear from both of the stars in revealing sit-down interviews. Catch all of that and more in the locker room on the DAZN app as we get set for one of the most anticipated fights in boxing later on tonight.
A lot of people ain't give us the opportunity to show how great we is. A lot of the fighters, I want to say, either they ducked or found a business way not to get in front of me. And I feel like with him, he kind of gave me the opportunity of a lifetime now. Now it's like, okay, you build your career up all this time. Oh, I want to fight this guy. I want to fight this guy. I want to fight this guy. And then the moment comes and it's like, damn, it's here. Like, it kind of like turn you up like, okay, let's go get it now. Like,
are you as motivated for this fight as he is?
I'm determined. It's a difference. I'm determined. No motivation. I have all the motivation I need. Got my family. Peoples are good. I'm wealthy, healthy. Health is wealth. Determined for more. Determined for a betterment of my life.
You know, we're just coming off the press conference where it seemed like Teofimo Sr. was doing his best to try to get you to commit to fighting the same way you did against Zepeda.
Truthfully, I fight whatever style to win. Whatever style comes up that I got to win a fight is what I'm going to do. So I'm not worried about anything he's talking about. So I just hope they don't expect that version of me. Expect a better version of me come fight night, for sure.
What version of him do you expect?
I expect no version. It's the beauty about boxing. You can't expect any version on the fighter.
Well, do you want to see him fight the way he did against Zepeda?
I want him to do what he believes is his greatest attribute. Do that.
He has said he's better than Lomachenko, better than Josh Taylor. Do you believe that?
Absolutely. Let him be what he believes he is. My job is to do what I need to do and become victorious. Defend my stuff. I've done it 3 times. This is number 4. This is number 4 for the ring. This is number 4 for the WBO. Super. So these are my goals is to defend my throne. I cannot be called the takeover and have someone take it over.
It is such an interesting fight. The main event here tonight at Madison Square Garden, Teofimo Lopez against Shakur Stevenson. I'm so interested what you guys think. Just in terms of, there's kind of a narrative around this fight, Mike, that the winner of this, especially given that Terence Crawford is now retired, that kind of feels like there's a bit of a void in American boxing for a face of American boxing. Is the winner of this the face of boxing in the U.S.?
I think they have a hell of a case, Kate. I mean, you talk about Gervonta Davis. We know his legal problems. He was just arrested a couple of days ago. Canelo Alvarez is still the face of boxing, in my opinion, but he's not an American, as you say. So I think the winner of this fight tonight, especially if they can do it in convincing fashion and a good fight, we're at the Madison Square Garden. What better place to crown a new face?
Yeah, it's a huge stage. What about Shakur Stevenson and what's at stake for him specifically? 28 years old, could be a 4-division champ by the end of tonight. How special would that be?
Extremely special, and that's why he constantly keeps saying to Tio, this is all I've dreamed of to wanting to do this. I also believe concerning the face of boxing, I believe this is a fight that could be a strong runner-up for it, but I'm not sure if it would be like right on. Me personally, I think the winner of this have to do what they're going to do tonight 2 more times in a convincing fashion, and then they can become the face of boxing.
We're seeing, you know, the images from the face-off yesterday at the weigh-in. The energy was so interesting, wasn't it? Seeing Tio initially kind of refusing to engage even with Shakur, and Shakur looking for that face-off and not getting it. What, you were up on the stage, Mike. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, we saw Eddie Hearn mention earlier, right, that Ryan Garcia is in the ring with Devin Haney. Devin Haney's looking at Ryan like, what is this guy doing? Well, we're on the stage yesterday, and we saw Teofimo Lopez come out to a standing backflip. He did like a 5-minute dance routine. Yep. When I went to ask the first question, he didn't want an answer. And I looked over and I saw Shakur Stevenson thinking like, what the heck is this guy doing? So I think the mind games, they're in full force, and maybe they're going to work just a little bit.
I think you get the impression that Tio thrives in that kind of chaos, though, doesn't he?
Yes, I believe he's crazy enough to believe in himself. Mike said something earlier that it really reminds me of. It reminds me of when Devin Haney fought Ryan Garcia. And Garcia was just doing everything that make people say, what is wrong with him? But when fight night came, he was zoned in. He was doing everything technically sound for the opponent that was in front of him. He got a victory. Tio is reminding me of a lot of that tonight, but we're going to see if he can pull it off.
Can we talk about experience and resumes? Because if you look at Teo's best wins, which is against Josh Taylor and Vasily Lomachenko, then the best wins that Shakur Stevenson has are not at that same level. How much does experience on that kind of big stage and in those big type of fights, how much does it matter?
I think the experience matter. I think Shakur is also dealing with the Floyd Mayweather effect. I think Valdez is a serious opponent for anyone except Shakur. I think Shakur has fought opponents that would be extremely threatening to anyone else, but he makes it look like nothing. It's like what did Roy Jones say? I just make him look like nobody. Y'all must have forgot. And that's what he's going to be here to prove tonight. I'm telling you, Valdez can go.
Oscar Valdez, let's not crown Oscar Valdez. One-dimensional guy. Tailor-made for Shakur Stevenson.
Yes.
I just think he was also a little past it, so to me, William Zepeda, I give Shakur Stevenson a lot of credit. Yes. That was a quality win against a tough customer, hard charging.
Also against William Zepeda, Shakur got hit more though.
He did,
so
absolutely.
He was a little bit more vulnerable. So yeah, I get your point, Mike.
Look, Teofimo Lopez, I think the thing that's really being slept on in this fight, Kate, is that Teofimo Lopez is the more athletic fighter. Shakur's not used to that. And there was one time he was used to it, Edwin De Los Santos. He had a lot of trouble with De Los Santos, who has really fast hands, explosive first step, big puncher, and that was a majority decision, I believe. A lot of people thought Shakur lost that fight, so let's not forget about what happened there.
Yes, absolutely, and I believe what people was really disappointed about was how much Shakur didn't take no chances. He disengaged all night long, and if I'm not mistaken, was that the fight that was in his hometown, or no?
No,
it was the
you're thinking of the fight against Tarashian.
Yes, Tarachi. Oh,
I just butchered his name, but...
Yes.
So what about that point that Malik makes? Because that's something that Shakur Stevenson has to deal with tonight. It's not enough to be the most gifted technical boxer of this generation. You will also have a responsibility to entertain. The fans come here to be entertained. Do you think that will be present in Shakur Stevenson's mind as he goes into this fight?
I think it should be. You know, we've disagreed many times on this point, me and Shakur. This is show business. This is entertainment. So I give him a lot of credit and a lot of props for what he did against William Zepeda. But I also think Zepeda forced him to do that a little bit with that volume, with that nonstop pressure. I think he's going to do his best to just win the fight and look good next time, so to speak.
And I also believe that the Zepeda fight, like I said, he was a lot more vulnerable. He got hit more flesh than I ever seen him get hit. And I wouldn't mind if he fought the same Zepeda fight but did it in the center of the ring. We was in the lab and I was telling people that the Zepeda fight is here. And see, the whole time if he wasn't on the rope, his back was kind of towards it. He was always like in a vulnerable position where he was backing up. I think against Teo, he have to make the proper circles and not get backed up to the rope, not get backed up into the corner. And he also got to watch out for being just in the high guard. I thought against Zepeda, he was in the high guard a lot. In the center of the ring is where Shakur need to be. And in the center of the ring, what do he need to be doing? He needs to be turning, letting combinations go, making the circle, making Teofimo actually miss, making him overcommit to then make him pay. And he's very good at doing that.
What about that sparring video that got leaked and that we all saw, where it looked a little bit like Teo was getting off on Shakur, and Shakur said it tells, you know, a one-sided story. What does that sparring video have any relevance? Are we interested in what happened then all those years ago?
I don't really think so, Kate. I'm with Shakur here. I think sparring, especially when it's an edited video, it reminds me of that Conor McGregor Paulie Malignaggi thing. It's like, who knows? And I've watched a lot of sparring. Malik's watched a lot more than me. I don't take much from it. They're working on things. There are different parts of their camp. Maybe they're getting ready for a fight. Maybe they're not. We're going to see tonight when the fights and the punches really count.
What is interesting, though, is that they've been in the ring together before, even if it is only sparring, right? What do you learn about your opponent that you would then take into fight night?
How risky they are. What type of audacity they have, and these are things you can't hide in sparring. You know if your opponent is willing, your opponent who's your sparring guy at that time, sparring lets you know this guy is willing to take it to the next level. He'll give it a go. He'll give it an effort. Those are the type of things you can't hide in sparring, even if you're going light. But speaking of sparring, what I like the most about the sparring clip that I've seen is the positioning game that they was doing, the chess match, and I'm hoping I see a lot of that tonight. I don't want Shakur to get caught up into what the fans say, what Coppinger say, get in there and show entertainment. I want him to listen to Coppinger and also listen to Malik Scott. Give us some drama, but give us some science as well.
And I do want to say, I actually watched Teofimo spar for the Arnold Barboza fight, his last performance in May. Teo's trying to take heads off in sparring.
Yes.
He's loading up on punches, and he has his dad yelling crazy things. He's like, do the George Foreman, and he's doing the cross guard.
Yes.
Do the Manny Pacquiao.
Yes.
So they have fun in sparring, but this guy is really trying to take heads off.
Yes, and his I think something else that don't get talked about a lot is Teo defense. Zizo, that's the name who just scored?
Yes.
He tried to cross guard. Teofimo goes with cross guard. He goes with Wing Chun sometimes. You can tell he has done in his career more than just boxing. He has took karate. He has took taekwondo, I'm sure, things of that nature, because he does these things with his arm in his hands that remind me of like martial arts, not just a noble art.
Yeah, I don't think it's hyperbole to say that Teofimo is the most creative offensive force in boxing.
I would say.
Okay, all right. Well, let's go down to the boys' ringside again, over to Todd Grisham and Chris and Sergio, and find out what you guys think about this main event.
Thank you, Kate. Yes, we continue to await the arrival of Turki Al-Sheikh. That's what the delay is for, but we'll get some live fighting go for you as soon as we can. But quickly, Sergio, we talked about Shakur Stevenson, that there's not really a blueprint to beat him because no one's been able to do it. If you look back at Teofimo's performances, which performance do you think he should try and recreate tonight to be successful?
The one with another southpaw champion, that's Josh Taylor. I think he was aggressive, he was athletic, but he also boxed on the back foot. Let Josh Taylor get over aggressive. He would counter, but he fought with confidence. You have to fight with confidence with Shakur, and you can't get frustrated when you miss, or you can't get frustrated when you're not hitting cleanly. That's how you're going to win rounds with a fighter like Shakur. You got to hit anything he gives you, and you also got to back up. Let Shakur come to you, because if you're always on the front foot, just like a William Zepeda, you're going to get countered to death. Guys like Shakur, you have to feed and you have to starve. That's how you beat him.
The problem with Teofimo trying to recreate the performance against Josh Taylor is that Josh Taylor fights like Teofimo in the way that you fight like me. They're just very, very different. Well, that's the point. They're very, very different types of fighters. And the reason so many people have leaned towards Teofimo Lopez, or leaned towards Shakur Stevenson, so many media members, fighters, people in the fans in the stands, is because when Teofimo takes on a more defensive-minded fighter, that's when he struggles. The Sandor Martin fight a couple of years ago, defensive-minded southpaw. Teofimo struggled. A lot of people thought he lost that fight. Jermaine Ortiz, after that, defensive-minded southpaw, used the entirety of the ring. Teofimo struggled in that fight. To win this fight against Shakur Stevenson, he is going to have to unlock what is the best defense in all of boxing. A guy with a plus-minus of more than 20. That is a very difficult thing to accomplish. That is Floyd Mayweather territory, fellas. So he's got to find a way to break that defense. That's the challenge that not a lot of people in boxing can think of ways he can figure it out.
Well, keep in mind also Teofimo Lopez has been the underdog in 2 fights, Josh Taylor and Vasily Lomachenko, and he has found ways to win those fights. We'll see if we can do it again tonight, as he is a big underdog against Shakur Stevenson. Well, our DAZN cameras were in fight camp with Shakur in the build-up to tonight's main event. Let's take a look.
This is a fight that I've been kind of waiting for my entire life. I didn't have to make this fight. This is a fight I could have just stayed at 135 pounds. I made this fight happen because I know Teo is one of the guys at 140. He got a big resume, big accomplishments. And I know there's going to be some doubt with people and fans when I go fight this guy. It's going to be people that really believe that this guy is going to beat me. I'm not on the level that I think I am and I say I am. So I made this fight for that reason. That was my competitive edge kind of kicked in when I wanted to make this fight.
Mainly work on your pace, you know what I'm saying? You need a fast pace, and I don't think you can keep up with us with a fast pace. I think it'll break you down. He like to work off his jab, so you handle that jab, you handle his coming forward. That's the first thing that you always want to do, man. Try to avoid injury, man, in the sparring, man. I love it, I love it. I love it. See it, see it? Right at that chest. It's coming, it's coming.
That was 9 rounds of sparring. I ain't gonna tell y'all the minutes, but yeah, I'm preparing to my fullest. I'm putting in a lot of work and getting ready. Sure.
Training with Shakur is amazing. A guy like me been knowing Shakur for over 10 years now. The boxing world know that we brothers and we'll never fight each other. And just being around him in his camp, man, is nothing but positive energy. And everybody wanting to be great. He's like my big brother, man. Like, he is my big brother, honestly. you know, he got all the wisdom in the world, especially when it comes to defense. So he's just making sure I stay sharp on my defense and not getting hit.
Hey, you speak Spanish? Yeah. And you speak English? What did you say? What did you say?
You don't talk it. Your friend.
Don't coach him. Don't coach him.
Good stuff, guys. Good stuff.
Well, His Excellency is officially in the building. Turki Al-Sheikh has arrived. This is what we were waiting for. We can now start moving forward with the rest of the card. It's kind of like the president. You have to wait till he's in the building to move on with anything. Mike, you know him very well. What does it mean to him to put on these big events like a Ring 6 at Madison Square Garden?
I mean, it means everything. Obviously, the Royal Rumble is going on today in Riyadh, and Turki Al-Sheikh is here because he has been so excited for this fight. He's been trying to make this fight for over a year now, and there's a good reason for that, right? Before Turki Al-Sheikh entered the space, these kind of fights just didn't happen. Both guys want so much money when they're in their prime. They're risking everything. So these kind of fights, whether it was Usyk Fury or Bivol Beterbiev, didn't happen before he came in, and he can't wait for tonight.
Obviously, it's unfortunate that we lost the title fight that would have been the next fight. We still got Ammo Williams on the card, but no longer fighting Carlos Adames. But just how impressive is it in this new era that we're getting these kind of stacked top to bottom kind of cards?
It's such a no-brainer. Turki Al-Sheikh has literally put a rain and a huge light on boxing. And like Mike say, and like so many of us say, that there's certain matches that would not have been made. Fury Usyk. Tonight what we're having, Canelo Crawford. And why is that important? Because these fights are molding the nature of boxing. They're real like marquee fights, and they're molding the nature of boxing. If it wasn't for Turki, we wouldn't even be in this building today watching this fight, and I'm happy that we are.
Me too. Very grateful. All right, next fight is up. Alla Williams against Wendy Tusan. We're going to send you over to Todd for the tail of the tape.
Indeed. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Our second fight of the night. Austin Ammo Williams, who thought he was going to be challenging for the WBC middleweight championship against Carlos Adames, is now instead fighting Wendy Haitian Fire Tusan, who's 33 years old, has a pro record of 17-3 with 7 knockouts, and he's taken this fight on 12 hours notice. Let's see how he does. Here's Thomas Schreiber.
Let's continue with the Ring 6. And first, welcome to the ring, Wendy the Haitian Fire Tusan.
Well, Sergio didn't have a ton of time to do the research, but how dangerous is Haitian Fire going to be here?
Well, he's definitely strong. He's one of these fighters that likes to suffocate offensive opponents or defensive opponents, and always on the front foot. He puts a lot of pressure. He's stronger than his knockout ratio indicates, but that is one thing. The most important thing going from Wendy Tusan is he's a last-minute replacement. Ammo was not preparing for a fighter like him or a style like that. Tusan, who they call Haitian Fire, better not let Ammo extinguish that fire. He needs to jump on him fast. He wasn't prepared for this style. Jump on him, try to land something early, get the respect of Ammo Williams.
Welcome to the ring, Austin Ammo Williams.
So again, Ammo Williams found out yesterday, right after he got off the scales, that no, you're not fighting for the World Championship. You're fighting a bus driver from New York City who were hauling in to scrap with you on 12 hours notice. Sergio, Chris, what's the mentality, do you think, right now for Ammo?
I think Ammo's focused, and I think a lot of that comes from the fact that it was just a few months ago that he had an almost identical situation happen where an opponent dropped out and he had to take a late replacement. He struggled in that fight because he had a hard time dealing with the mental aspect of all this. He said he is over that. He is locked in. It is at a higher weight class. It is against an opponent with a different type of style, but Ammo Williams is coming to do one thing: win this fight decisively and get that middleweight title shot in his next fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 10 rounds in the super middleweight division. Brought to you by Ring Magazine, Sella and Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing in association with Bob Arum for Top Rank Incorporated and Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing, along with their great sponsors: Thomas J. Henry Law Firm, Everlast, Halo, IFX Payments, DoorDash, and DraftKings. A big thanks to those great sponsors. The judges are Tom Carasone, Max DeLuca, and Benoit Roussel. Our referee in charge will be Ricky Gonzalez. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, he comes to the ring wearing multicolored trunks and weighed in officially at 167.2 pounds. Hailing from Huntington, New York, he has a professional record of 17 wins, 3 defeats. 7 of his 17 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Wendy, the Haitian Fire, Tusan. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, he comes to the ring wearing gold with red and weighed in officially at 168.6 pounds. Fighting out of West Palm Beach, Florida, he brings a professional record consisting of 19 wins, just 1 defeat. 13 of his 19 wins come by way of knockout. Ranked as the number 8 middleweight in the world by Ring Magazine, here is Austin Ammo Williams.
Gentlemen, you received instructions in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Protect yourselves at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Anything above this line is considered legal. Anything above this line is considered legal. Touch them up.
Well, Madison Square Garden has been very kind to Austin Williams, particularly round number 1. He's had 2 fights here, 2 first-round knockouts. Quadir Jenkins in his second pro bout, and then Tordale Booker back in 2022.
You know, only in boxing can a guy be driving a bus on a Thursday and collecting a $250,000 purse on a Saturday.
$250,000? That's what they're getting? Sergio, you should have taken this fight.
Yeah, I would have bought him.
Just to recall, last time we were in this building, Sergio offered to fight, I already forgot who it was, somebody for about 50 grand.
150,000.
That's not true.
All right, here we go. Scheduled for 10. This is now a super middleweight fight. Williams was scheduled to fight at 160 pounds. And you would think Tusan would start quick early and kind of rue what might happen in the late rounds, considering he was in no condition to have this fight on this date.
The last time Wendy Tusan fought a southpaw was against Andrea Holmes, and that fight was stopped because of a headbutt, which we see a lot with lefty and righty type fighters because they cross over each other's feet. So we'll see if that doesn't happen here.
Yeah, that was a competitive fight against Holmes. It was stopped in the 8th round, and the scores were pretty close. And Holmes is somebody that has been in title eliminators. I mentioned the loss to Charles Conwell. Took Conwell 9 rounds to stop Wendy Tusan. So he's been in with some good fighters. 3 losses, all to undefeated opponents.
Tusan has a really sneaky, well-timed right hand. That's the shot right there that Ammo's going to have to watch out for. Ammo is the left-hander. That's the money punch for a southpaw. Just straight down the pipe, but he throws it real short. if you're inside or he throws real long if you're on the outside.
And I think the most dangerous Wendy Tusan's going to be is probably in these first 3 rounds. I mean, even if he was preparing for a fight in February, he was still 15 pounds heavier than his usual weight. So I think Amo's got to try to weather the storm early on and try to assert control in the middle later rounds.
The last time we had a similar situation to this was when Martin Bacoli came in on just a couple hours notice to fight Joseph Parker last second. Parker dispatched of him in round number 1.
Martin Bacoli had to travel, I think, 4 time zones, 2 continents, and whatever it was to get there.
Good right hand from Tusan.
Tusan is landing some nice right hands. I don't like the fact that Amo's getting hit so early, and this is a knock I have on Amo, is lack of upper body movement. He's still getting hit by the same punch, and that's a straight right hook, but it's that right hand.
There's a little clash of heads. You can see Amo pointing at his forehead.
Tusan's not going to come in here and try to win rounds. He's not going to stay punch for punch or keep up with the volume of Amo. He's just going to try to time a straight right hand or a right hook.
If you're Amo, are you trying to push the tempo to try and get Tusan tired?
I'm trying to box and get out of these early rounds because that's where a guy like Tusan is going to have any type of chance. You know, early. When you try to get him later into the fight, it's a 10-round fight. Wendy Tusan is not going to be prepared for the later round.
And see the size of Tusan. He's a 154-pounder, you know, coming up for this officially a super middleweight fight. But he's a big guy there in the ring.
No, he doesn't look like a junior middleweight to me. Tusan looks like a full-fledged middleweight. He has the height, he has the reach, and he filled out nicely.
Good opening round for Haitian Fire so far.
Very good round. I like that 2-1-2 that we were talking about in the last fight. That's a great combination to throw against a southpaw.
Mouthpiece. Good. How you feel? Good. Nice job. I want you going more with that jab, okay? Work off that jab. Put the pressure with the jab, okay? You listen to me? You're doing everything right. Just work forward off the jab, okay? He's feeling it. That right hand's there. That right hand's there. We come back with the left hook. Okay? He's dropping that hand. Stay with the jab. Double it, triple it, forward, forward, forward. All right? You're doing good.
Finish with that lead hand. Popping him with the right hand. Come back with that hook. Come back with that fucking hook, kid.
Keep your head offline. Keep moving your upper body in. Move your upper body. Don't take the necessary punches.
That was the audio from the corner of Tusan, and they're very happy, it seems, with what they're seeing so far.
No, I was surprised because at first I thought it was the advice of Amo, but I thought Tusan had a good round, and that advice fits what I saw with Wendy Tusan in that first round.
Watch your head
today,
there, guys.
The right hand, he says, it's always there.
And they are right, because Amo needs to get out of the line of fire. See, he needs to go either to the left or to the right when he comes in, but you got to pop the jab. You got to break that rhythm of Tusan always waiting for that right hand.
Chris, you were telling me earlier, Matchroom wasn't too happy about this matchup. They had some real concerns.
No, it's not that they weren't happy. And shout out to Kevin Rooney of Matchroom for getting this fight put together. It is not easy in the state of New York to find an opponent this late, someone that's done the medicals, had the blood work, and is available to fight. But they didn't view this as some kind of walkover fight for Amo Williams. They know the talent of Wendy Tusan. He's been around the block, and they know what kind of fight their guy's getting into.
I can already tell you Tusan can fight. He can box, he can fight. He's looking for the right shots. This is the type of fight that could easily turn into a nightmare for Amo Williams if he's not focused and careful all the way to the end.
And Tusan does have 3 losses on his record, but the combined record of his last 5 opponents, 55-5. So he's fighting very good competition and should not be intimidated by Amo Williams.
Not at all, and he's coming off a fight where he beat an undefeated fighter. His other losses are by undefeated fighters as well. So taking zeros is nothing new for Wendy Tusan. See right here, Amo should be jabbing, closing the distance.
Good right hand again from Tusan.
Tusan's just waiting the time until Amo's done punching, but He's not giving him nothing to think about, so the jab is what Amo needs to be doing.
But Chris, in the last fight, Amo Williams fought Ivan Vasquez. Similar situation where Vasquez had a lot of success early before he finally faded out in the late rounds.
The difference, though, with Vasquez is that he was, and I say this respectfully, basically a club fighter. Like, he had never been past the 8th round of a fight. Wendy Tusan has. Now, he may not be in the best of condition, but you can't just simply rely on Wendy Tusan to fade as a strategy to win this fight.
He was apparently in camp for a fight February 28th, but that still means, what, 4 more weeks of training camp he had to go through before he was in tip-top shape. But, you know, back in the day, Sergio, Muhammad Ali, what were they having, 4-week training camps? All of a sudden now it's 8-week training camps.
You're talking about the greatest here, Todd.
Well, we're talking about back in the day, those guys would have 4- and 5-week training camps.
Well, it's a lot different now. I mean, the lifestyle was a lot different. Of course, fighters back in the day were a lot tougher as well. And they weren't getting
Were they tougher?
Yes, they were, and they weren't getting the paydays they are now. So they have to fight more consistently.
Move on you now. You gotta cut the ring off, bro. Spit it out. Listen, brother. We're trying to move on you, so we got to slip, slide, and cut the ring off. Behind your jab, sticking and stabbing, picking and poking, slipping and sliding, cut the ring off. When you cut the ring off, you got to run them shots off. You got to cut that ring off and run them shots off, bro.
Amo told us yesterday, after being upset for about 20 minutes after he learned the news, he said, you know what? This happened to me my last fight. I know how to deal with this. I'm approaching this fight like it is still for the world title, and I'm still fighting Carlos Adames.
Oh, the way you have to, because if you lose a fight like this to Wendy Tusan, there will be no world title shot the next time out.
And if Amo doesn't start jabbing and double jabbing, closing the distance, it's going to be a long night.
Well, I think Kevin Cunningham had a good point in the corner there, talking about cutting the ring off. We're seeing Amo kind of follow around a little bit in the first 2+ rounds. He's got to find a way to step over to his left and cut the ring off when Wendy moves to the right.
And you could do that easier if you're jabbing your way in. But if you're following your opponent, you know, hoping to land the perfect shot, you know, that's when it looks bad. It looks like you're following him around instead of cutting off the ring and doing what you want to do. So you should be jabbing Amo right here. Instead, nothing, just one jab. That jab breaks the rhythm of anybody that's just looking to counter, you know, so you're always doing something in between your combinations.
Good right hand again there from Tusan. He's had the more dramatic power punches.
Yes, yeah, because Amo's making it easy on him. He's not making him think about nothing. Always make your opponent think about something. That's when you got to be flicking the jab, double, tripling the jab. And when you get on the inside, you rip the body, make him block those punches with his elbows.
Chris, you ever met a man named Wendy before?
I have to think about that, Todd.
Sure you have, Todd.
My sister's named Wendy. Shout out to Wendy Grisham. Amo just following Tusan around the ring.
He's at least doing, and I know what you're saying, Sergio, with the jab, but I agree with that. He is targeting the body a lot in these first couple of rounds. I think that's going to be important. To stop the movement of Wendy Tusan, you've got to dig downstairs to that body.
Yeah, and Tusan needs to start catching and countering with the uppercut if Amo's going to be throwing those body shots. If you didn't go to camp and prepare and spar to get hit down there, those punches will take effect, even if you're blocking them, because you're not accustomed to getting hit for a 6 to 8 week camp.
Amo Williams said he was sparring about 30 rounds a week, and admitted maybe it was a little too much, but I just love sparring. I feel like I get better at fighting by fighting.
Well, that can sometimes turn against you. I would think that having a great trainer in this corner like Kevin Cunningham would prevent him from sparring so much. Maybe they're light rounds, maybe they're not against big punchers, but you gotta be careful with so many rounds of sparring. Fighters become stale mentally.
Body shot in the round there for Ammo.
Ammo trying to rip the body, but it's Tusan with that little short right hand. That's his best punch. He's been throwing it straight, he's been hooking, he's been uppercut. I would like to see him throw more body shots as well, but I see what Wendy Tusan is doing though. He's trying to not punch with Ammo. He's waiting for Ammo to be done, and he's going to get his. But if he's not in shape, that's going to actually backfire to him. That was a good round by Ammo going to the body.
Yeah, 13-2 edge in body punches so far for Ammo Williams. You can see the strategy. I think it's smart. It is, though, as you know, Sergio, the kind of strategy that you have to wait a couple of rounds, see if it's going to pay off.
So Ammo Williams, nice left hand there. Really coming out a little hotter than he had the previous 3 rounds.
Great combination.
Not sure if you can hear the corner through microphones. You probably can. Tusan's team just
to punch with him,
to throw more.
Yeah.
Let your hands go.
And what they mean by that is that they can't keep up with the speed and the length and the size of someone like Williams. So you got to punch in between the shots, because then you're going to intercept the combinations. They're not going to get comfortable throwing 3-4 punch combinations if you punch in between.
Now a rare foray forward for Tusan. He had some success there.
I know who you want. Let's go, Wendy. Work. Go back up. Forward, Wayne. Up the jam, Wendy.
Maybe a little fatigue setting in for Wendy Tusan. A little more of a stationary target in this round, not using the entirety of the ring like he did in the first 2 or 3 rounds.
Sergio, when you're feeling fatigued, as we look at jabs thrown through the first 3 rounds, Williams with double the output nearly.
Yeah, but Tusan is landing at a higher percentage, so that's going to be Tusan's game. He's not going to keep up with the activity or the volume of Ammo, but he's going to try to punch in between the shots, punch whenever Ammo breaks the distance. He's going to let Ammo do all the hard work, all the pressuring, all the activity, all the volume. Tusan's is going to try to catch him with the right hand at the right time.
Sergio, when you start to get fatigued, what's the first part of your game that starts to show signs of slippage?
That's a good defense. It all depends on the fighter, but I would say the punch volume goes down and the lack of upper body movement. But since Tusan just has the high guard, you're not really going to see that when he gets tired. Normally, when a fighter starts getting tired, his hands start dropping lower and lower.
Again, Williams trying to cut the ring off. Did a good job there. Land some body shots.
Good body shots there by Ammo. Tusan better catch and counter those body shots, so they're going to have an effect real fast.
And Chris, I think you're right. Tusan slowing down.
Look, I think that's part of the body work of Ammo Williams. Part of the fact that you were driving a bus on Thursday. I think it's tough to come in. Give him all the credit in the world for coming in like this, but I really thought coming into this fight, as I said, we're at the top, 2-3 rounds right away. That's where Wendy Tusan is probably going to be his most effective. Now you see Ammo Williams, who's been in a 7-week camp, who is prepared.
Oh, big uppercut! A lightning strike from Ammo.
Beautiful shot. Ammo landed a left hand right in the body. It's 7-something. 7. Beautiful. Right uppercut, right down the middle. 9. Wendy's out. He thought he could continue. Maybe the bell will save him.
They're going to let him go. Didn't get a chance to fire that shot, and it could have been decisive.
That was a picture-perfect uppercut from Ammo Williams.
Set up by a left hand to the body. Beautiful combination by Ammo.
You see where that came from? Where it come from? What that? What hand?
Spin. It's a bucket. Spin. You want to go? No. Don't left. Listen to me. Relax.
Okay.
Fight with him. You understand? You're the better fighter. Don't back up. Go. I want you.
Right? That's what happened.
And now you can see that Ammo landed a nice body shot. But before that right uppercut, it was a left hand to the body that really got the attention of Tusan, which is what made an entrance for that right uppercut. And from the southpaw stance, that's going to be a punch that's going to be there again for Williams. Beautiful shot. You can see the chin rattled. That's going to have effect in this next round. You can't just shake that off in 60 seconds.
I love the rear uppercut. It's such a dangerous punch for fighters to throw because you're exposed if you don't land it cleanly. But that was well executed. They've been working on that shot in camp.
Tusan's corner saying, look, you got to fight him now. Stand there. You're the better fighter. Go get him.
I agree with Sergio, though. Step on the gas for Williams. I can't see Tusan being fully recovered that quickly.
Yeah, the referee took a long look at him, almost stopped it. The bell saved him for sure.
Body shots and uppercuts is what you're going to be looking for if you're Williams. Not only did you just drop him with an uppercut, but those punches are going to keep Tusan's hands blocking instead of punching. See right there, you just got to rip. You got to rip those gloves, those forearms, and then break up that guard with uppercuts if you're Ammo.
I think Ammo's kind of beating the fight out of Wendy Tusan.
Yeah, he's feeling the flow right now as Ammo just waiting for the opportunity to land a kill shot.
I love how Ammo just on him. He's not letting him breathe. This is mental pressure, body pressure that Ammo's applying. See, right now, the jab's not even necessary no more because you already hurt your opponent. Now you can dig the heavy shots. Now you can be a little bit more aggressive. Not reckless, but you can take more chances if you're Ammo.
Yeah, not sure what Tusan has in the gas tank to fire back, at least to get Ammo's attention. Right now, just circling the ring, buying time.
I can't tell if he's trying to use this time to recover or if he's just trying to stay away from him.
Right on the belt line there from Ammo. Williams 13 knockouts in his 19 wins. Would love to pick another one up here.
It's a pretty good hook there from Tusan.
You like how Ammo's handling things here, Sergio?
I like the pressure, but he can still be throwing a few jabs instead of just following them around like that. I know he wants to look for the heavy shots, which, you know, you don't really need a jab to break that distance. But 2 minutes have passed, more than 2 minutes have passed now. So get back into another gear. Go back to the jab, go back to setting up your power instead of just, you know, going for the knockout, which is not there anymore. Credit to Wendy Tusan for his recovery skills because I didn't think he was going to make it past this round after that major uppercut and then knockdown. You don't recover that fast from uppercut shots like that. So the resilience on Wendy Tusan is impressive.
Right hand that kind of stumbled Ammo back. Looked like he was falling off balance already. But Tusan will take anything he can get at this point. Well, coming up next, undefeated WBC interim featherweight champion Bruce "Shoo-Shoo" Carrington faces off against veteran Carlos Castro for the vacant WBC featherweight world title. That's actually 2 fights away. Coming up next, this big behemoth steps into the ring. 317 pounds, Chris.
Yeah, kind of win or go home, too, for Jarrell Miller. Has not won a fight since 2023. Has not been in the ring since the summer of 2024. But this is his first time as a professional fighting here in Madison Square Garden, the same building he was supposed to compete in 2019 before the Anthony Joshua fight was scrubbed. Now he's back trying to get that next big fight against Kingsley eBay, who has had a lot of jobs in his life. He's been a life insurance salesman, a bouncer, a football player, and now here he is trying to get his shot at a major fight in the heavyweight division.
He would consider this a major fight since it's at Madison Square Garden against a favorite opponent, Jarrell Miller. There's a nice shot from Tusan to start round 6.
It's an important round for Tusan. If he's going to attempt to try to win this fight, he has to punch with Ammo. He landed a good left hook right there. Let's see if he can get something going.
Again on the back foot, though, as Tusan continuously circling away.
And there's nothing being on the back foot as long as you're punching with your opponent, trying to counter, throw some jabs to the body. You punch whenever whenever you're ready to land a good shot, you know, because Amel's already putting the pressure. He's the one that's going to punch at will. You just have to try to counter if you're Tusan.
That was the setup for the uppercut from earlier, and Tusan was all over at that time. Clubbing right hand from Tusan. But anytime he becomes stationary, that's when Williams lets his hands go. Like right now, good body shot.
And you know what? I would welcome that if I'm Tusan, because the thing about Amel, he loads up on every shot. He doesn't hide his power. So if you can catch and counter a fighter like Amel, then you start getting respect and you start getting things going your way by actually catching and countering, landing some shots. But when you just cover it up like that, you're going to make it easy for a fighter like Amel Williams.
Yeah, Tusan, too, is kind of in survival mode here, has been for the last couple of rounds. It just, you know, his corner is urging him to punch with Amel Williams, but that's when you leave yourself most exposed. So, to me, Wendy Tusan's main objective right now is to get to the finish line.
Yeah, man, but if you're going to try to shock the world, I mean, you got to punch, or else you're going to go back to, you know, driving a bus. You know, you got to risk getting you know, hit to do something.
Tusan tried an uppercut of his own.
Keep punching, man.
But this is never good look. This is never a good look for the judges when you're constantly moving backwards and away from engaging.
And it's not a good look when you're just moving like that and then complaining for borderline low blows like Tusan. So these are already signs of him not having a fight in him.
And as we look at the fan zone, 10% of you are wrong.
And it probably represents Long Island.
That one split the guard from Ammo. 25 seconds to go here in round 6.
You know, what do you do, Sergio? Because you've got one thing Ammo could be doing better is cutting the ring off. Like, he's just following around Tusan and allowing him to move the way he is.
And that's because of the footwork of K9. You can see how he always brings his feet together. See how he brings his feet together? That's a big no-no in boxing, and that's the reason he has trouble getting off the ring. He can't move laterally.
You can't follow him around the ring, bro. Even though he's moving.
Big left hook there landed by Wendy Tusan. Wendy going around the guard of Amel. Amel's not the best defensively himself because he's an offensive fighter. He likes to go forward. So there's openings for Wendy Tusan to land something. And that's why his corner's urging, yelling, admonishing their men to throw some punches, do something.
You're right up relax. Breezy. You're right. Shoot your jab, you're right up upon your left hook. 3 fucking punches. Let your hands go. He's leaning in front of you. He's falling in.
It's what I told you. Stay with the basics, okay?
Seconds out.
All right, round 7. Tusan lasting longer than I'm sure many people thought he would, especially after eating that big right hook that dropped him to the canvas in the 4th round. And Tusan at the beginning of every round shows some life, Sergio, and then just kind of fades away and gets into the running game.
Yeah, because he's probably not as well conditioned, and that's what you do. You know, you get a little bit of respect in the starting of a round, the first minute of a round, but then you just go into survival mode. You know, guys like Tusan that aren't in shape to go 10 rounds, they're just going to fight in spurts. They're not here to win, really. You know, they're just here to survive, not get hurt, not get knocked out, and pick up a check. I mean, he's a replacement, a last-minute replacement, and the longer he goes, more of a moral victory for Wendy Tusan.
Sergio, we always talk about someone being able to cut off the ring. What are the keys to being good at that, and why isn't Ammo able to do it?
He doesn't have the footwork. Look at how his feet come together. Ammo has never been the best at footwork, and he squares himself up. So I want you guys to notice the feet, how they always come together. A fighter's stance should always be like a sprinter. You know, he should bring them lightly, but he always brings them together.
Yeah, it's definitely a skill that gets learned over time. Gennady Golovkin, who is here sitting ringside, was one of the best that I've seen at cutting the ring off. Just was able to cut off routes no matter where his opponents was going and force them to where he wanted them to be.
Look, see how, look at how he just walks to his opponent, Amos, and he brings them together. That's actually detrimental. If you can punch in between when a fighter's feet are together like that, you can either hurt them, drop them, or catch them off guard.
Well, is there any advantages to bringing your feet together like that?
None. That's a big no-no in boxing. Great fighters don't do that. The only great, look at his feet. I just want you guys, everyone watching, to watch the feet of Alan Williams when they get a chance. They come together real closely, and you could take advantage of that against Tusan because you're not balanced. They're always coming together. There's no space in between there.
Williams has him in the corner, but lets him out. Crowd beginning to get a little bit impatient here. They think Williams should just get this guy gone.
Good body shot by Amo. That's another thing. Whenever you have a fighter moving around the perimeter of the ring, you just got to bang at the body. If they're moving to your right, you got to throw your right hand. Stop them from going that way. Left, the same thing. Dig down to the body. That's how you stop them from moving. Then you can go from bottom up.
Oh, there's a right hand from Tusan. Right before the bell.
You had him on the go. You had him on the go. All you got to do is keep working. From the bottom up. From the top down. Just keep sliding across the ring, cutting the ring off, and immediately go from the bottom up or from the top down. Just keep working. He ready to fold, bro.
Listen, you're landing when you punch back. You got to be aggressive. You got to be aggressive. Uppercuts are there for you in the hook. But you got to put your punches together. You're not going to land one at a time. You got to put combinations together.
Every time you throw that right hand, it's there to go again. Finish with it. Over the top, twice, bring the hook down.
The DJ letting the music run a little longer. No one's complaining about that as we head into the 8th round. Looking for some late drama here either way. Get this crowd buzzing a little bit. It's our second fight of the night. The main card is up next with the heavyweight showdown. Terrell Big Baby Miller and Kingsley eBay.
You know, Tusan's corner is giving him the right instructions if he was looking to get a win. Telling him to throw with him, keep punching. But it's just a lot to ask when you're as worn down as Wendy Tusan is right now. Like I said before, I think he's been in survival mode since probably the 4th or 5th round.
And on the flip side of things, you're Kevin Cunningham telling Emma Williams, when you get him in the corner, give him the business. Right now, there you go.
There you go. That's what you do. You start from the bottom up. And I think I heard Kevin Cunningham say something about that, going from the bottom up. What he means by that is you got to throw your punches downstairs to the rib area, to the forearm, hit the elbows, and then that way you can stop your opponent from moving and go up from there. They don't have to land clean, but at least you're getting your opponent to stop, be stationary, and attack.
Wendy, born in Haiti, raised there, then moved to the United States at the age of 17, later became a U.S. citizen, nicknamed Haitian Fire. Been a volunteer fighter, now a bus driver, has worked in home health care for seniors in a factory and security. He's done it all. Just trying to make ends meet like so many American citizens. But getting a big cash check tonight for this effort. Chris Mannix reportedly saying it's about $250,000.
Wow.
Right?
He can buy himself a couple of buses.
Sergio would have done it for the Emperor's package at Caesar's Palace.
You know, Amo's the type of guy where he loads up on a lot of shots, and in this fight, he's following around Tusan's way too much. So I could see how Adames would have been the favorite here because Adames is a boxer puncher, good on his back foot, good counter puncher. But like I said in the beginning of the telecast, Amo wasn't preparing for anybody but Adames. So it's hard to look good against a last-minute opponent like this. I don't care how great in shape you are. This is all mental. This is all strategy and game plan. If you didn't train for this man, so it's very difficult to look good and shine.
But at the same time, Sergio, you're telling us about fundamental things that he's getting so wrong in this fight.
That's true. And I've never said Amo was a flawless fighter. He has a lot of flaws.
Good punch, too, there from Tusan. A little ray of sunshine on a cloudy day.
Listen to me, bro. We got 2 rounds left. All right? Everything you worked for, all the hard work you put in, it comes down to now. Comes down to right now. You hear me? Everything you worked for, what you want to change your life is right now. Don't let no one take that away from you. I don't care if it's on a day's notice, a week's notice. I don't give a shit. This is your fight. You're better than me. Come on, Wendy. I love you, kid. You're doing great. Let's go. Calm down. Relax. I got you. Relax. Okay?
Look at me, look at me. No. Put his back up top. All right? It's the breakdown process. You got to break this dude down. But he ain't got nothing to keep you off
the corner, Tusan. He said, it's now or never. You've trained your whole life for this. Go get him. All right, now calm down and relax. Take some deep breaths. You hype him up and deflate him. Either way, 2 rounds to go here in a fight that Amo Williams is dominating, but Tusan has landed a couple of good power punches. You saw 2 body shots there at the end of round number 8. There's a left hand.
It feels like for Tusan, you can get this vibe from the corner. It's not about strategy at this point. It's about getting him willing to engage, willing to take some chances.
Good body shot by Amo. I would think that they told him to throw more body shots here to stop the movement of Tusan. Because Tusan's happy. He made a whole movement about the perimeter of the ring. This fight hasn't been fought on the inside. It's just Tusan going around the entire ring, and it's Amo following him.
Williams swinging for the body and missing as Tusan continues to circle away. He's been primarily circling away from the power hand, the left hand of Williams.
Amo has power in both hands. You know, he has a nice right hook, nice left uppercut. In this fight, I would like to see more jabs, more power jabs. Just missing with a big right hook, right uppercut is Amo right now. That punch will be there again as the uppercuts.
This is where Kevin Cunningham wants to see Amo let his punches go.
You know, some of this for Amo comes down to preparation. Like, Carlos Adames would not fight like this.
No.
Or close to it. So when you've got a guy like that who you haven't prepared for, who you probably haven't brought sparring partners in training that way, it definitely can have an effect on the fight.
I'll tell you one thing. Carlos Adames is probably watching this fight thinking, man, I could have beat this version of this man, but, you know, Amo's not fighting Adames, and you get let down when that happens. And this is what I said, that it's all mental.
Let me play devil's advocate a little bit here. I mean, you go in a baseball game, you think you're facing a right-handed breaking ball pitcher, all of a sudden a left-hander walks in and throws fastballs. These guys have trained hundreds and hundreds of sparring rounds against all different types of opponents for years and years and years. And you're telling me a last-second replacement of a guy who's not really there to win, that you should have this much trouble with?
Let me put it in terms you can understand, Todd. It's like if you were studying, preparing for an event, and then all of a sudden you go from a boxing show to a baseball game that they want you to commentate. It's a totally different ball game. You know, you're not prepared for that. Yes, you can call the simple things, but the intricate things, you don't know.
You could have gone anywhere with that analogy. I have no idea. I thought there might be an Alabama joke coming there.
Went to a boxing match and a baseball game broke out. All right. Not a lot of action here in round 9.
Tusan did land a nice right hook. Stop at the bell, gentlemen. You know, if he keeps landing anything one round, he keeps getting the confidence to go to the next.
You gotta set it up. Give him a finger.
the body shots that I want to see a little bit more of. That one's straight a little bit low, and that's a straight shot. I want to see hooks around the guard of the elbows, just like that. Just like Tusan is landing on ammo. Jabs and body shots of your Ammo Williams, punching with your opponent if you're Wendy Tusan.
The 10th and final round. If you're just tuning in, Austin Ammo Williams was supposed to be facing Carlos Adames for the WBC Middleweight Championship, but he was taken out due to either injury or illness, and in stepped Wendy Tusan in less than 24 hours notice to take this bout, and so far pretty much just take a beating. But he's still in there in the final round.
Taking a beating, but he's already in the 10th round. In a 12-day notice, I mean, it's a win for Wendy Tusan. Not only the payday that he's getting, but he's in there with a title challenger, you know, that was going to be fighting for a world championship. That says a lot about a fighter like Wendy Tusan. Took this fight and didn't know what was going to happen. So I'm actually a little bit more... I'm happy for Ammo getting the fight, but this isn't the performance Ammo needed or wanted.
Tusan's corner still believes he can work some magic here in the final 2 minutes. Whereas Ammo, you would think he'd be going for the gusto here to finish this guy. Is that what you'd be wanting to do, Sergio?
Yeah, and that's why I sounded a little disappointed. I mean, I'm happy that he got the fight, he saved the date. But you're supposed to take guys out like this. At one, they've been stopped before. Two, they took this fight in less than 2-week notice.
You got to get 2 week no tell 24 hours notice.
Wasn't it 12 days?
No, it was like 12 hours.
Oh, 12 hours, sorry. Well, that's even more disappointing.
Yeah. Never mind. You came to a boxing match at a baseball game.
I think Ammo just rocked him right now with a chopping right hook. That caught the attention of Tusan. All could be forgiven if Ammo could actually stop him here in the last round.
Yeah, people only remember the highlights, and he did drop Tusan earlier with a massive right uppercut.
It's funny, he went with that rear uppercut that put Tusan down. We haven't seen him try that again since then. Now, Tusan's movement has picked up since that moment, but I've been waiting for him to kind of unleash that one more time.
Keep going, Wayne! Keep going! Come on, Wayne! Let it fly, Wendy! Let it fly! Do it again! Come on, Wayne! Forward, Wendy! Forward!
So Ammo Williams will get the win here tonight, but it'll be a fight he probably won't want to watch too many times. Want to move on to the next one. He did score that impressive knockdown, but after that, not too much to talk about. Nice flurry there from Tusan.
May have lost this last round, but you know, the last minute replacements always occurs. I'm happy Ammo got the fight. He went the distance, got some rounds.
Got some money.
Got some money, but it wasn't the greatest performance on Ammo Williams, but he did save the date, save the slot.
So Williams will move to 20-1 overall. And Sergio, do you think this will hurt his case when they say, look, we still want that middleweight world title shot when Adames is healthy?
Nah, it won't hurt his case because he was preparing for a champion. And in steps Wendy Tusan, an unknown, unheralded fighter. So you can't help yourself but to be let down. So no, I don't think it takes away from the chances.
But like you said, Adames is probably sitting at home watching this going, I'll fight this guy.
Oh yeah, no. Adames is licking his chops
7 days a week, twice on Sunday.
Yeah. But that can work in the favor of Ammo Williams as well. Let him think that. I'll come back even better, more motivated, and prepared. Because he was preparing for Adames and not this man named Wendy.
Well, ladies and and gentlemen, this is the end of our free-to-air. Coming up later tonight, of course, the main event, the fight we didn't think we'd be seeing, at least not at this stage of their careers. Prime versus Prime, 28-year-olds squaring off in the main event at Madison Square Garden. Teofimo Lopez, the 140-pound champ, taking on Shakur Stevenson. Well, Sergio, if you get Austin Williams back in the gym, what's the first thing you're working on with him?
Footwork and upper body movement. Be more fluid. You know, he's a little bit too stiff. And fighters like Adames that are more fluid, good with the 1-2, they know how to move the entire ring. They're boxer punchers. You know, they take advantage of stiff, strong southpaws like Almaayouf Williams.
Thomas Triber has the scores.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Max DeLuca scores it 98-91, and both judges, Benoit Roussel and Tom Carasone, score it the same, 99-90. All for your winner by unanimous decision. Austin M.O. Williams!
Well, not much drama there as Williams gets the win and moves on, hopefully, to a world title opportunity if you're a Williams fan. We'll see how long Carlos Adames is on the shelf with his injury. Williams said he was going to treat this fight like it was the world title fight. Is that what you were sensing in there, or was he just getting frustrated at the style that Tusan had?
No, I just think it wasn't what he prepared for, so he got caught off guard. The concentration for this opponent wasn't there.
All right, let's go into the ring and Chris Mannix.
Keep your record intact, you get another win on your resume. Are you happy with that performance?
Just gotta work on with somebody in survival mode, kind of in that retreating mode. Tighten up the ring better, like Triple D over there. Man, that's my inspiration right there. And yeah, that's what we gotta work on.
Hey everybody, good to have you with us. You're hearing Kate Scott, Mike Coppinger, Malik Scott here with me. So we just seen Almaayouf Williams get that win. Wide decision for him. Did you think it was as impressive a performance as it was wide a decision, if that makes sense?
Well, considering the circumstances, like we all did going in, we knew it was a new opponent. I think most of us thought Almaayouf should have ran through the guy, being as though the short time that it was in. And it seemed like he couldn't just run through him. Well, you got to give a credit to the opponent. As you can see here, he was disengaging. That made Almaayouf a little bit hard to get up to him. But right there, Almaayouf did a good thing. He slipped the orthodox jab and came up with a beautiful right uppercut. That's something that you usually see at the high level, so he did very good there. Here, during times in the corner, I thought he should have went to the body a little bit more to break this guy down. All the shots is to the head. I personally believe if a guy is giving you nothing but a high guard, you should be going to his rib cage. You should be going to the liver. He did good. I thought he could have did better, but I'm proud of him for handling the circumstances, how he handled them. Late opponent, okay performance.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thought pattern is that it was supposed to be a world title fight until Carlos Adames pulled out, so you would hope that for Almaayouf, a world title fight is still on the horizon somewhere. How makeable is that for him, do you think?
I think it's very makeable. I mean, he deserves it, and when you look at the fact that he was supposed to fight for it through no fault of his own, it's off. He's one of the top 10 middleweights in the world, is rated by Ring Magazine, and like we said earlier, this is a division that's wide open. It's one of the worst divisions in boxing in terms of depth and skill level. You look at Janabek Alam Connolly, who was the top middleweight, fight. He tested positive for PEDs. Carlos Adames, number 2. He's off this fight, so I think it's wide open for a guy like Ammo.
So you think potentially some of those belts may become open. Let's talk about the next fight that we've got on the card, which is a really interesting one. The big boys, Jarrell Miller against Kingsley eBay. I guess I'm interested. Jarrell Miller is an interesting character as we're watching Emma Williams just make his exit triumphantly back to his locker room. Jarrell Miller, how uncomfortable a heavyweight is he to fight against?
I believe he's very uncomfortable to fight. Even people that have beat him, the Dubois, anybody else that ever been in a back and forth fight with him, what they always say is he's a pain in the butt to box because he don't allow you to do what you want. He's very physical. You could tell when he boxes, he comes from a kickboxing background because he's physical with his forearms. He's physical with his palms. He's very physical with these guys he's in the ring with. So that makes him real a pain in the butt to box because he don't let you rest. He understands what his great attribute is. That's being a pressure fighter, coming forward, and I'm looking forward to him doing that tonight too.
The problem is we haven't seen it for a minute because he hasn't fought since he fought Andy Ruiz, which was back in August of 2024. How important does that make this fight for him, Mike?
I think this is really the last chance for Jarrell Miller. I agree with Malik. He's a mighty, talented fighter. He has a great look, one of the best talkers in all of boxing, and he doesn't always come in the best shape. He's a guy that really gets by on volume and pressure, like Malik said. 317 pounds tonight. I mean, look, he's a big guy no matter what. I like him better in that 280, 290 range, which is still very big, obviously. But if he gets a knockout here, I think he's right in the mix for big fights. He was supposed to fight Fabio Waterley last summer. I don't see why he can't revisit that now.
Oh, this is a super interesting fight at heavyweights, and as Mike says, a lot on the line for both of these guys in terms of what happens next in their career. You can see Jarrell Miller and Kingsley eBay getting ready for this fight. Jarrell Miller certainly needs a win in this fight to stay relevant in the division. For eBay, this could be a career-changing moment. Super interesting fight with two very heavy men indeed, as Mike said. We are going to go to a break very quickly. We'll be back with you in just a minute.